Good evening and welcome to the Chelsea Fancast. I am Stanford Chidge, of course, and it's our occasional, when we can be asked, bothered or whatever, show called In Off the Post, where we read out your fantastic, wonderful, beautiful, well-constructed emails. And as ever, I am joined by the delightful Mr. Jonathan Kidd.
Oh, Chidge, what a lovely, lovely way to say that about me. Delightful. What a lovely word. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Lovely to be on the show. Are you hearing me well?
I'm hearing you perfectly. Yes, of course. Those of you who heard our show the other night on Monday. God, it was yesterday. It seems like a week ago. But you will know that we promised you that our ugly mugs will be on screen. In fact, if JK moves to his right a little bit, then you
Actually,
will
I'd rather they just see our Marcus Alonso, if that's okay.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they would as well, because I know you're beautiful, but arguably he is more beautiful than you.
He has better hair than me.
Well, he's arguably got better hair than even me, and that is saying something.
Yeah,
but anyway,
but he's injured at the moment. Anyway, he's had a back operation apparently,
and he doesn't play for Chelsea either.
Indeed,
indeed.
But
anyway, he did used to. Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is it's our occasional show. Me and JK read out your emails. We did say, as I said on yesterday's show, on the Monday night show, that we would be doing this on video.
Video,
live and direct. Which we are. Now, we're using this thing called StreamYard. I'm yet to really get my head around it. It's supposed to be going out on YouTube. Whether it is or not, I don't know. I've probably not pressed the right button yet. We'll see. Oh, apparently we're live on YouTube.
Live.
But I don't know. It's not coming up on my phone. But don't let that worry us. Anyway, before we get into the meat and potatoes of said show, as ever, do not forget.
Talking about veg.
Yes, we are talking vegetables already. Right, you can listen to the show and now watch the show every Monday and Friday at 7:30 p.m. Apart from when we're not doing it on Monday or a Friday at 7:30 p.m. like tonight when we're doing it at 4 minutes to 9 on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
But basically it's Monday, Friday, 7:30 live. Exactly. Now, there are many ways you can indulge yourself with this show. One of them is you can listen to it and chat at the same time on Mixler, which is
preferable, to be quite frank, isn't it, really?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we never do. So how would we know?
We chat to each other. That's fun.
Well, that's true. Anyway, Mixler, chelsea-fancast.mixler.com. And as I said, there's a very lively chat room in there where live, exactly. They all talk to each other and far more sense than me and JK. Of course, YouTube. So Chelsea Fancast on YouTube, you'll be able to watch this. We might even put it out to Facebook because we have the technology.
Sure? Can we do that?
Well, if I can figure it out, yes. It's that simple.
Button?
Apparently, I don't know. I'll have a look in a minute. Anyway, look, we're on the socials. You'll see what they call a live. What do they call it? A ticker. Or a crawling titles or something like that. Follow us on social media at Chelsea Fancast. Download the podcast from Acast, Spotify, and all podcast platforms. Watch on YouTube. Join Chelsea Fancast Patreon, www.patreon.com/Chelsea Fancast. Like and subscribe. I wrote all that myself, but you know how it works. You hear me saying it all the time. I'm talking of Patreon. There are now people who are in receipt, JK. They are in receipt of mini Kerry Dixon banners. I've seen 2 photographs on Twitter today of people holding up their banners. Very grateful that they received it because I sent them out in the post yesterday. So if you want a mini Kerry Dixon banner, all you have to do is bung us a few quid each month and join our Patreon website, which is, as the crawling ticker thingy bob at the bottom of the screen tells you, patreon.com/Chelsea Fancast. Anyway, enough of my twaddle. We've got loads of
emails coming up. We have a crawling ticker.
Well, something like that. Isn't that what they call it?
I'm impressed.
Can you not see it?
No, I haven't got the screen. No, I must have a look. Blimey. A crawling ticker. Geez.
Yeah, mate.
Oh, we have. Bloody hell.
He's so excited by this. Is ridiculous.
Impressive.
Oh,
I'm slightly out of focus, but perhaps I am in real life anyway.
No, you are in real life, actually. That's very true.
I was. Yes.
Anyway, listen, we've got loads and loads of emails tonight, 20 to be precise. So it's going to be a late one.
We not just chat. No.
Well, we could just chat. We'll chat between them. Of course, the duty of kicking us off always falls to you, Mr.
Thank you. From Stephen Osborne, the excellent Stephen Osborne, the lovely Stephen Osborne, the regular Stephen Osborne. Dear Chidge and the Wembley-bound JK, absolutely correct. I'm going to the Twin Towers, as they used to be. They're there symbolically, no longer there, with my daughter to watch Chelsea play the Scousers, and she's watched them twice now in Wembley finals, and we've lost on both occasions. So she said, I don't quite know where I'm going, Daddy. We're going to lose again. I said, no, we don't know what is going to happen. There's a possibility, 50-50. Anyway, Stephen Osborne. Thank you, Stephen, for writing in. Dear Chidge and the Wembley-bound JK, few things about the CPO. He wants to talk about the CPO. First, it seems like the current players have got their pens out. I recently heard the players we currently have available are Armando Broja. Well, he used to be till he was loaned. Christopher Nkunku, Conor Gallagher, Wesley Fofana, Noni Madueke, Malo Gusto, Benoit Badiashile. Notice Badiashile, not Badiashile. Robert Sanchez. Second, given the names of the legends on the CPO board, I think you mentioned Pat, Frank, JT, that's Pat Nevin, Frank Lampard and John Terry. Surely there would be huge demand for a legend share signed by one of these guys. I absolutely agree with you. I'd pay a couple of $100 for one, as I'm sure others would. Yes, have to try and get the debt down, don't they? Third, why don't CPO have some of the women players sign shares too? Absolutely. Why shouldn't they? So Michael Carrick came for a day out at the bridge with some of his mates. He got battered. How battered was he? Etc., etc., etc. Ha ha ha. That's it for now. Cheers and up the Chelsea. Arg. I'm sorry, I've read that so dreadfully. Cheers and up the Chelsea. Exactly. He was in pain. Sorry, Chelsea Arg. But no, it's Chelsea. Really correct. Yes. Yes, he did come. He did get battered, didn't he? Yes. He was heavily battered. And that was Borough, of course, because he's the manager of Borough. Yes, that was rather good fun. Let's hope we can take some of that performance into Sunday.
We should at this juncture really, JK, say that because well, I mean, the last In Off the Post show we did was in January, so that was written just after the Middlesbrough match. We're going we're going from the latest up to the most recent, so moods may fluctuate during the show.
I think we can put them on the straight and narrow as to where we are now, can't we? And still use it as a cushion for debate, a bouncy cushion for debate. No.
Well, yeah, we could. So there we go. Good to hear from Stephen, as always. Lovely man. Right, the next one is from Mark Smith. He says, hi, Chidge and JK, a mixture of thoughts I eventually managed to put down on an email. A commentator's quote, I think during the first Middlesbrough tie, a team of their quality should be doing better. Surely the fact that they had not been doing better for quite some time is an indication they do not possess that quality. I don't think the commentator said that, but anyway, there has been a lot of discussion on the subject of a player's data, especially in the purchase of players. I'm intrigued. I'm always intrigued, Mark. It's my default position. There's been a lot of discussion on the subject of players' data, especially in the purchase of players. I'm intrigued as to how they gather data on the player's footballing intelligence. From what I've seen, very little. On a recent In Off the Post, you mentioned Frank Lampard had been spotted sitting next to Todd Bowley. On the same podcast, the subject of Jonathan's hilarious antics with a turkey baster. How could we forget? These two stories and the football club's desire to buy young players merged in my mind as you speculated as to why Frank was there. Could Todd be offering a hefty price to donate to a Chelsea Football Club sperm bank? Outrageous idea. There's been many.
I love it.
Well, it could be like a Chelsea stud farm. I happened to watch some program the other day where, would you believe, none other than Michael Portillo, who in my day used to be called Michael Polwright, he went to the Irish national stud in Kildare, where the stallions would serve a huge amount of mares every day, and they even had a poor little pony. Literally a little pony that had to act as a fluffer.
Yes.
Which is
quite. They lead them in first, don't they? That's right. To set them up. Yes.
Yeah. So he gets a bit of a stiffy, and then off he goes. And it's like £65,000 £6 per serving up, apparently. So maybe that's what we need. We need at Cobham a Chelsea stud farm. I love your idea. I love your sense of humour, Mark. It's as warped as mine is. Anyway, where was I? There has been many a discussion as to how individual players have been performing. They're often compared to past players. This is quite normal. However, I think some consideration has to be given to the team they find themselves in. Like JK as a yardstick is unfair. Did he mean that?
No, like JK, I had hopes.
I had exactly. Sorry, mate. Like JK, I had high hopes of having seen Jackson in pre-season. But unlike Drogba, who many use as a yardstick, is unfair, not just because they're totally different, but the team Drogba joined was more of a team and had more experienced players. Quite right, Mark. I wonder how a young Lampard would have fared in this team, probably terribly, without the likes of Zola, Petit, Hasselbank, Lasso, Gallus, etc. to help guide him and gain experience from. Well, actually, I remember he didn't do very well in his first season. We used to call him Frank Lamppost because he had such a lack of movement and any understanding about what was going on around him. Which
and
always
he was a bit tubby as well, wasn't he?
He was a bit. He had a bit of puppy fat, but it's always a good reminder. I think Drogba and Lampard, particularly when, I mean, I have to say, you and I both have shown an enormous lack of patience with many of these young players.
Yeah,
but it's a good reminder that even the likes of Lampard and Drogba were a bit shit in their first seasons. Anyway, finally, as the COP were mourning the departure of Klopp, I saw an article, one of too many, saying that the search for his successor would be data-driven. Up the Chelsea, Mark E.A. Smith. What do you think of that, JK?
Well, it means that possibly the new manager for Liverpool will have no personality, but some great success up his belt.
Maybe as it's data-driven,
it'll be AI.
Exactly that, or a robot.
Yeah. In fact, they don't ever need to have a manager from now on. They just have somebody who appears on a screen.
Could be a
and
clock
addresses
bot.
them. Yeah. I think that would be perfect. But yes, I think I think as we've discovered, the footballing intelligence of several of these players has been
they don't have any AI
lacking, missing.
NI,
yeah, yes. NFI.
NFI,
very similar to MFI. Yes, yes. And I actually think I think we've been actually quite hopeful for some of them. I think we've been very caring for some of them, Chidge. I know we've been critical of some of them, but I think we've now got to the stage after having half a season of them that some of them you just give up with. I mean, I think we've given Mudryk an enormous amount of encouragement and space as on the Fancast, because we've just kept saying, give him some more time to play. He's fantastically quick. Just give him the ball and he'll do something with it. And unfortunately, we've discovered if you do give him the ball, the chances are he'll just get tackled immediately or play the ball to a member of the opposition. So, and I think Poch himself has now decided that he is not to be brought on unless in a kind of state where we're 4 up or something, or he just needs to change it for even more wingers. I think he'd prefer to bring on Madueke, who is, as we've discovered, also one brain cell less than he should have, I think, when it comes to consistency. And that's unfair. He just seems to play well one week and the next just lose all energy and all sense of what he's actually supposed to do as a footballer. But I think it's all what we're watching is what we're seeing now, I think, is beginning to gel. I think we're beginning to see a team that he's happy to stick with. But I agree completely about the Jackson situation, which is that he's did he mention him in there? Yeah. That Jackson was, in pre-season. I think we all had hope seeing that, but then finally we're actually beginning to see him lurch into something similar, as is the whole pressing thing, which we saw in pre-season. So it's weird.
You're a big fan of this pre-season malarkey, aren't you? You often.
Well, I don't normally. Yeah, I don't. But they played so well, Chich. That was why. And all
it was pre-season, mate.
I know. But nonetheless, he played in a style that he hasn't played again, and he actually began to play it at the weekend, which is that they push them out to the wings, and he had Nkunku and Jackson playing for him. Well, mind you, didn't. He only had Jackson was playing on the wing. There was the difference. So that was the kind of shape. But he was starting with Nkunku, who played much better than he did at the weekend. But they hadn't bought Palmer, of course. So perhaps I'm, talking bollocks. But I like the very fact that
I would never say you're talking bollocks.
Oh no, Chidge, I admit it. Huge, great, squiggly, hairy bollocks. I talk frequently.
Well, as do I.
Yeah, but
okay.
I don't know why I said squiggly. By the way, I don't know what that means.
Next email. You're next. You're up next.
Squiggly bollocks. What is squiggly bollocks? Yeah. Anyway, it's Paul Drutman. Hello, gents. Is he straight to the point? Gents, not Chidge and JK. Gents.
I like
Thank
that.
you, mate. Yeah. Greetings from Seattle, Washington. I've been a loyal listener since 2011.
That is impressive.
Very impressive. Very impressive. 13 years, Chidge. Wow. Yeah. Thank you for the weekly Chelsea content. I look forward to it every week. I'm writing for two reasons. One is to seek a recommendation. Second is to rant. Good. We like a good rant. We'll hope we can give you a recommendation. First off, the missus and I will be in London in May. In the past, we bought tickets to CFC matches by using the hospitality packages sold by various companies. It seems like that is the most reliable way to get a ticket to a home match nowadays. Probably right, but hugely over the top in terms of expense. We'll be in London for the Bournemouth match in May. We'd like to watch the match in a local pub. I see. You're not going to buy a ticket. You're going to watch it in a local pub. Okay.
He probably can't get a ticket.
Probably can't get a ticket. I thought he said that he was getting them from hospitality packages from various companies, but perhaps that's not the case nowadays. Anyway, the most reliable way to get a ticket to a home match will be in London for the Bournemouth match in May. We'd like to watch the match in a local pub with other CFC fans. My guess is most of the pubs around the bridge are fairly busy. Are there any spots around London you would recommend? We're fairly open to locations. We'd love to hear some recommendations. Thank you in advance. Jidge, what do you reckon?
Yeah, that's a good one, actually. That's a good question. I mean, look, Paul, number one, don't give up on getting a ticket. I mean, I know I think that's the last match of the season, the Bournemouth match. So historically, very hard to get tickets for. Secondly, don't give up on watching it near the ground, because you will get the second best atmosphere watching Chelsea in a local pub near the ground, of which there are plenty. We all drink in the Cock, as you know. The Goose is an excellent... the Goose is probably the best pub to watch the football on if you can't get to the match. The Pensioner, whatever it is now, gets very, very busy, but that's another place. There's quite a few pubs. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but certainly the Cock or the Goose. The Goose I would recommend highly. Further afield, well, I mean, if particularly for away games that I wasn't at, when I used to live in Pimlico, there were several really good pubs around the Pimlico area where I'd watch it. There's a Riley's bar, which is a bit salty, as you know. But I've watched games in there. There's a pub in Pimlico called the Tram Line or something, which is quite a good pub for watching the football. Battersea would be a good place, quite, home territory, really. Clapham, I think there's a pub near the Clapham Junction, which is a good one. But don't give up on a ticket. And secondly, go to the Goose. That would be my recommendation, Paul. All right. Is that answered the question, JK?
I reckon.
All right.
I reckon. You can't get into the ground, can you, to watch in the bar just by
Frankie's.
the hotel?
Frankie's. Yeah, maybe. You probably have to book or something. I don't know, because I've obviously always been in the ground. So
indeed, because that might almost be half and half, mightn't it? If you
Nathan gets the award for stating the bleeding obvious. The Cock doesn't show the footage. Yes, I know. I'm going to go full on Captain Mannering here. Stupid boy. I wondered who was going to notice that.
Yeah.
Yes, you're dead right, Nathan. The Cock does not show the footy, but it is where we drink, which is what I kind of meant. But the Goose, absolutely best pub, I think, to watch in.
Oh, carry on. Excuse me, Jordan.
Am I keeping you up, mate? Sorry.
No, I'm not bored or keeping me up. No, just I've been training, if you must know, Chidge. I've been
doing what?
I've been training to improve my life. No, I've been training to maintain the fitness of a very old man. I've been going to the gym. I did some weights and I did some little bit of cycling and a bit of stretching, usual thing, and just wandered around the gym, just looking cool and groovy,
You're anyway, a better man than me.
And I think I'm what's the word? I'll think of a word in a second. Anyway, back to the email. Now on to the rant. He's got a rant. Having seen the Liverpool match, the only thing that comes to mind is What the fuck was that? In his post-match presser, Poch said that Liverpool had a better mentality, attitude, or whatever. Unfortunately, I couldn't agree more. We were second to every single more. Is that disagree? I see Liverpool had a better mentality, attitude, whatever, not us. I remember him being actually very positive about the game, bizarrely, because he was more concerned with VAR than anything else. He seemed to use that as an excuse. But anyway, I do agree with you, Paul. It was absolutely desperate. Liverpool had a better mentality, attitude, or whatever. Unfortunately, I couldn't agree more. We were second to every single ball. I think we lost the ball 4 times in the first 2 minutes, gave the ball away. If it wasn't for Petrovic and the PK miss, it could have easily been 7 or 8-1. This was an embarrassing performance. I want to like Poch, but the substitutions at halftime did not make any sense. The 3 worst players in the first half were Disasi, Badiashile, and Enzo, yet all stayed on. Don't get me started on Mudryk. He's got to be my least favourite player since the awful Juan Cuadrado. What a very good player to bring up, because he was shite.
He was shit.
Yeah, this team is hard to watch at the moment. Signing a number 9 won't fix anything. The team lacks an identity, plain and simple. Well, I'm slightly disagreeing now, slightly ahead of the game.
This is
once again, we have to stick it. It's the Liverpool game, which we've slightly improved since.
I've just got to say, JK, the awfulness of doing an in off the post show after a month is we now have to go back and relive all the things that we've now conveniently forgotten, like how shit we were against Liverpool. Wolves will be coming up as well.
Yes,
you've got to go through that again.
Yeah, but I like being able to correct it and look at it through a different prism, through a different mirror, through a round mirror, or rather than a square mirror, to look at it and say, yes, but things have evolved, and we're all agreeing with you about Mudryk, who he's not picking anymore. Badiashile, of course, is injured. Badiashile, not Badiashile, Badiashile, and Disasi through playing in the middle because Silva is now injured, of course, is now revealing himself as excellent. And his demonstrations of his excellence are brilliant to behold when he punches the air and shakes and slams everybody's hands, giving them low fives. Anyway, where are we? This team is hard to watch. Yes, I agree they were that night. I think that was possibly just the worst performance of the year, wasn't it? The Liverpool performance, where we didn't compete at all. Yeah. I named both my pups after Chelsea players. There's Reese, a chocolate lab, and Maisie, the golden retriever. Who's he named after?
Mace.
Oh, as in Mason Mount. Oh, okay. Perhaps I could have known that this season was going to be painful when Mason chose to leave us for the Red Devils. Anyway, thank you for all that you do up the Chelsea. No, thank you very much, Paul. Fantastic to get a message from me from all the way from Seattle. But let's hope that they don't play. Next Sunday, of course, is the Carabao Cup final, anywhere near as badly as they played that day. And I think, as we discussed on the show on Monday, I think if Liverpool are cocky, if Liverpool are confident, they'll be overconfident as they pay attention to the previous performance. I think they'll have a surprise, because I think we'll stick it up them, won't we, Chidge? A little bit like
stick it right up them, son.
Right up them, like
right up their Harris, mate.
Yes, they don't like it up them, do they?
They don't like it up them.
No, they don't like it. They don't like it. So yeah, no, I agree that that night was absolutely appalling. But we've had better performances since.
Right. Okay. Next email. Now this is from John Kirk. Now John, I know, received his mini Kerry Dixon banner in the post this morning, because he posted a picture on X. I must keep remembering to call it X. And what I found out, I now follow John back on X. He loves Hampshire cricket. John, I never knew you liked Hampshire cricket. As you know, I love Hampshire cricket. We need to talk about this. Maybe get down to the old Aegeus and have a bit of local beer and some Hampshire, like I like. Anyway, John says,
did they speak like that down there, Chinch?
They do. That's actually how I normally speak when I'm down here. Yeah, this is an affected, almost like RCP that I do for the Chelsea Fancast. Yeah.
Okay.
Normally, I spend my entire day talking like that. See,
do you munch a piece of straw normally as well?
All the time, and I wear gaiters, innit?
Do you?
I do.
Amazing.
I do.
Amazing. Do you have a Shire horse outside as well?
I do. I have 3.
3 Shire horses. God.
That's right. One's called JK, one's called Tony, and the other is called Marco.
Oh, sweet. Thank you.
I've named them all after you lot.
Oh yeah, lovely. Is one of them? It's one of them a girl?
No. Yeah. That would be Tony. No, he's a nag. Actually, if we had a girl horse, we should. It would definitely be a nag, wouldn't it?
Very good.
A Bernard Manning joke for you all for a bit of retro.
Yes.
Anyway, John Kirk, hi Chidge and JK. I started composing this email back in 2012. No, you didn't. I started composing this email during the absolute crap fest that was Liverpool. However, it was just becoming a complete swear fest, and soon realised I was just ranting with every other word being fuck or cockwomble.
Oh, man after my own heart.
Totally approved. That is approved Chelsea Fancast language. So I have recomposed this in the cold light of the next morning, hoping my emotions may be more in check. But I can't guarantee this. 1 billion on that? Really? Fuck me sideways. We spent huge. We haven't spent well. The Bowley, Egbali, Winstanley and Stewart clusterfuck was so apparent last night. All that potential we've paid for, you can't win on solely potential. These 4 utter idiots who seem to have as much idea on running a football club as my dog has on being the Prime Minister have turned us into a pure banter club.
Lord Beagle.
Yes. Now, it was just so utterly apparent that Badiashile and Mudryk are projects that need consigning to the scrap heap. Here's an idea. Sell them and sign a sodding striker. Mind, not sure they would bring in more than tuppence halfpenny. Everyone was an utter embarrassment last night, apart from Petrovic, who made some big saves and had no real chance at any of the goals. It could have been far worse if Salah was playing instead of perennial woodwork hitter Nunes. Chile, who I won't go too hard on, as this seemed a rare poor one from him, but still produced a dive of such shit and was rightfully booked. The 200 million twins look shit. I think there is a player in Caicedo, Moises, but maybe controversial. I don't think there is in Fernandes. He hasn't improved in his time with us. He shows flashes, but it always seems to be against the poor opposition. He's a busted flush. Oh, Thiago, as much as I love him, can't play in a 4 against teams like Liverpool. Palmer went AWOL. Sterling clearly thought he still played for Liverpool, as he made no attempt to help us. Yes, we could have had 2 pens. Still a little bewildered how we didn't, but let's not pretend we didn't get the result we deserved. So, we come to Pochettino. While I was never convinced he was the right man for the job, I don't think anyone would be getting much of a tune out of this lot. We had a run of decent results since Wolves on Xmas Eve, but they have all flattered to deceive. None of them have been convincing, and this performance was always waiting as soon as we met a serious team. What's the answer? I don't know. I think we're going to have to ride this storm of arse gravy for a good few years yet. We ought to say whenever we see the word arse gravy, TM Tony Glover, right? Something like that. I think we were going to have for a good few years yet, but a good starting point would be to get rid of the XG wankers, Winstanley and Stewart, and bring in a director of football who knows what they're doing. I'm going to end with the nearest glint of positivity. And Nkunku, Carney, and Gusto certainly looked better when they came on and need to start on Sunday. A bit ranty, I know, but I feel much better now, and I can go off to work to face a day of piss-taking from the plastic Southern Scousers I work with. Best, John. I feel that was really cathartic for John.
I don't think it was cathartic enough, as he didn't send us the rather aggressive sweary one.
And just think what the other one was like.
The other one, exactly, because this one was still pretty sweary. But yeah, and once again, we all agreed with you completely after that game. We wanted Poch out. We were
just as
ranty. And of course, it's interesting, isn't it, that a couple of good performances and some of the players playing much nearer their value. And we've slightly changed our tune. But let us see. Who knows with this Jekyll and Hyde team? But nice one. Nice mail, John. Very good. Thank you, mate. Very good. This is from Dave Kinder. Evening, Chidge and JK. Hope you're both well. Well, yes, I'm pretty good. I'm as I said earlier, I went to the gym, and I have to nowadays, otherwise my body falls apart.
Anyway,
yes, poor JK. Hope you're both well. Well, yes. Despite what we had to witness at Anfield last night, which, by the way, I'm struggling to get my head around. Once again, we were equally struggling with you, Dave. After a 4-hour journey there, I eventually parked up 2 miles from the ground with 20 minutes left before kickoff. After a sprint through the stinking Liverpool streets, oh dear, I eventually walked up the steps to my seat as the game kicked off. Little did I know the traffic chaos and race to get in would actually be the highlight of the evening. Oh dear. Right from the first kick, we were passive and pathetic. I just do not understand it. I've made a quick list below of points from this game, which probably relate to other games as well. Well, I think at the time they did. Why are we trying to play out from the back from goal kicks away at the best pressing team in Europe? Absolutely what we agreed, and we've said utter madness. Hope they don't do this on Sunday. At one point, Silva took a goal kick by passing back to Petrovic in the 6-yard box, who subsequently gave it him back. Why the fuck is that happening? Then what wondrous piece of play do we do from this tactic? We give it to a fullback who's put under instant pressure, and another shot is then rifled towards our goal. I have to say that has been the norm, hasn't it? With particularly when Desailly has been playing right back, which he clearly isn't as good as centre half, as we've discovered, even though he apparently kept Mbappe under. Was it Mbappe he managed to stifle when he was playing for Monaco? When
apparently
he was playing fullback? Apparently so. And Poch remembered that. But as we've only just discovered, he's a much better centre half. And he says, what has happened to Badiashile? Well, Badiashile at the moment is now injured, which I think is a blessing in disguise, because he's at least two mistakes per game, with 2 terrible mistakes which give away goals. He was a small bright spark in the utter darkness of last season, but he's been nothing short of a French Titus Bramble this season. Oh, well remembered, the Newcastle nitwit. Not good enough. Is Caicedo injured or unfit because his pressing is crap? But I don't think any of them have been particularly good at pressing, which has always been but that's the wrong expression. I think they're good at pressing. I think they haven't been told to press, or they press in sort of bits. One of them presses and somebody else thinks, oh, perhaps I better press. But they seem to press a bit better at the weekend when they played City, because that's when we're doing this, just after they've played City and drawn. So we keep thinking perhaps they're getting a bit better than they were. Anyway, Caicedo's pressing is crap. Dawdling over to help people out, not an ounce of get up and go in him. Seems like Brighton have royally pulled our pants down again with this one. Fucking Beach Hut FC certainly know how to mug off our board. Well, yes, it has been looking like that, but let's see. Why do we not hunt in pairs? How many times was Desailly left one-on-one with Diaz? And in the background, there's Madueke jogging back. I think that's one of the problems Madueke has, which I think is meaning that he won't be a starter. Fucking bust a gut, help your teammates out, you lazy Gareth. I love the use of the word Gareth. Thank you, mate. What was up with Chilwell? Yes, that was a terrible game. Chilwell was terrible. He's since redeemed himself, to be honest. He was really excellent against City at the weekend. Fair enough, probably not 100% match fit, but if the ball is at your feet, you should be able to pass it to one of your own players. Things like that, nothing to do with fitness, just atrocious play. Yes, he was hopeless in that game. When are we going to stop the bookings for diving and petulance? That's just a clear sign of lack of discipline. I'd rather see players smash through someone and be booked than run the risk of being sent off for being a mardy little twat. And the diving, do they not realise these things are checked? Lunacy. Conor Gallagher, Jesus Christ. If he's supposed to be our shining star of the season, poster boy for the club, we're well and truly fucked. And it's clear proof of how badly our levels have sunk. All he does is run around. That is it. If those idiots from North London want to give us 50 million for him, then do it. I'll fucking drive him there. He's more likely.
Fuck off. Yellow card. Seriously, yellow carded, David. David, yellow card.
Rather than a goal or assist. Simply not good enough for Chelsea. Squad player, yes. Regular starter. Do me a fucking favour.
Absolute fucking loads of bollocks. What is it you said earlier on?
What?
About bollocks?
Bollocks. What? Swiggly bollocks, I think I said.
That's a load of swiggly bollocks, mate. Sorry, I love you to pieces, David, but that is rubbish.
Yeah. I think you get a yellow card. But are you getting a yellow card for fighting him, do you think, Chidge?
Okay, back? Fair enough. I suppose that's fair. That's what would normally happen in real life, isn't it?
Yeah. I think you both get yellow cards. Yeah. Because he's just got a view, he's got an opinion.
Well, so have I. But
to be fair, he was terrible in that. They were all terrible in that game.
They were all terrible.
So he's giving it a, I have to say, I think in the fan bar, I even said if somebody offered me 50 million for him, the following day, I'd give it because I was so disappointed in him.
Well,
I was. To be fair, I think that then
I think
the
maybe you
game,
wrote that. Did you write this email, JK? You can be honest with me.
Hang on, what's my name here? No,
Well,
I'm not. I've never chosen. I wouldn't have chosen Dave Kinder. I would have been
Dave is one of the stalwarts of the Discord group. I've clearly missed his hatred of Connor, but maybe, as you say, he was just being a bit fed up with an absolutely piss poor performance by all of them.
It was, but it wouldn't be my sobriquet. That's the.
No, you're Vant Howard, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm Howard Vant. Howard Vant. Yeah, my producer. Yeah. Anyway, here we're number 8. I really feel for Enzo. We all know there is a player there, but nobody is switched on as him. Constantly has the ball, looks up to see absolutely fucking nobody making a run. The only thing he can then do is give it to constant ball givers away like Caicedo, that's Moises and Gallagher, or has to give it to our centre backs. We're immediately under pressure again. He will want out in the summer. I can see it, and I would not blame him. Interesting, isn't it? Enzo got a lot of stick at that period though for not being any good, and yet Dave is seeing him as a kind of one of the only players playing well. So you can't tell. Personally, I just thought it was all it was so dreadful. We were so dreadful. That really was for me the worst game of the season, and that is saying something because we were terrible against Everton and terrible against United. Anyway, number 9, Mudryk. Fuck off. Whatever you are with that.
Okay, David, I take it all back. You've redeemed yourself totally with that comment.
He's had enough chances. Go back to playing postman and builders in some outback part of Europe. Petrovic, he is top draw already, in my opinion. May he be our number 1 for a decade. Well said, mate. Very good. Yeah. I think I made you stop writing points now as my blood is boiling again. Yeah, I think we could tell that. Keep up the good work. Hopefully see you in the Cock one day. Up the Chelsea, Dave. Well done, Dave. I wonder, we've been interesting to see what you think now, actually, having can you write a quick mail while we're doing the show?
I don't know if I don't think he's in tonight. I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him. No.
What a shame. Well, send us one for the next in off the post, just saying what you think after having written that, and then the next. How many games have we had? 4, 5 since?
I don't know, mate. I should go and have a look, shouldn't I? I think his email will start with Chidgey, fuck off. You talk bollocks, mate. I stand by everything I said about.
It'll be a red card, and you'll both come to blows.
You can have a red card.
A red card, yeah.
Love it. Dave, no, I love him to pieces. As I said, he's a stalwart of the Discord group, and I enjoyed talking to him all the time. All the time, mate. Right. This is from our mate Michael Murray, who also, by the way, put a photograph on X of him holding a Kerry banner aloft, arms aloft. Brilliant and lovely to hear from you, Michael. He said, I've only had to wait 6 months, which is about average waiting time.
That's good for you, Chich.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. It's true, actually, because the last lot I sent was in about June. So
yeah. And to be fair, you did show me the Jiffy bag on several occasions with them in, which they were in your thoughts to be sent. So
But it's not a factory process. It's crafted. It's handcrafted.
Hey,
that's why it takes so long.
You made those Jiffy bags, didn't you? You stuffed them with your own hair,
with my own bubbles.
Yeah, and bubble wrap. Yeah.
Oh my God. This is bad enough when we're just on a podcast, mate. The fact that it is all going live to YouTube as well is very embarrassing.
The trouble is, you can see my eye infection. I've got an eye infection.
Oh dear, bless you! Didn't you go into makeup before you came on air, mate?
Yeah, and they put too much pancake in the corner there.
Oh, for God's sake, fire them! Anyway, look, Michael Murray, dearest Stamford Chidge and Duke of Kidd.
Good. Yep, thank you.
I hope you are both well and over the shit show on Wednesday. Anyway, where to start? Do we blame the board, the manager, the players? Where does the blame lie? I know, with Winstanley and Stewart, the recruitment has been shocking. Don't get me wrong, they've picked out a few gems, but the rest are utter fucking dog shit. Badishiel needs to fuck off and then fuck off some more. Brozier, not good enough and looks like a lost puppy every time he's on the ball. But don't fear, in action Jackson will be back for the Wolves game, so hooray, we're saved. Billy Whiz, fastest man in the world, and that's all you can say about him, really. My blind gran could have put away that chance he had at the start of the second half. Just poor, very poor in a Geordie accent. I got there ahead of you, Michael. Well, that's enough on the players for now. Now on to the third Mitchell brother. Yes, the Gareth, Paul Tierney. My head the other way Paul Tierney might head the other way whenever Chelsea get fouled. What does that mean?
He's turning the other way. He's got his head turned the other way.
Okay, fair enough.
So Paul Tierney, my head's the other way when Chelsea get fouled.
Oh, right. Now I understand. Sorry, it's me being an idiot, not anything else. 2 blatant pens, one on Connor and one on Nkunku. When Connor was fouled, I jumped out of my chair and shouted, "That is a penalty, you Gareth." My missus then jumped up with surprise. Then she watched the first half with me. Even she could see the ref was against us. She said, "Blimey, the ref is blind when it comes to Chelsea." And she don't even really watch fucking football. Even Stevie fucking Wonder could have seen that they were both penalties. Seriously, the second, one even more blatant than the first. If we get both pens and score, it's a different game. The crowd would have gone quiet, and I think we may have nicked a draw, or maybe even a win. But it is what it is.
That's what Poch said. That's what Poch was more.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
No, he didn't say it is what it is. I'm not saying he said that. I'm saying that he said that he felt that it would have been a completely different game. He concentrated on that, but I think that was because he realised how completely dreadfully we'd played as well. So
okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
But I love the use of the word Gareth, because I presume the use of the word Gareth wasn't used in front of your wife. I think I
think maybe he did that. I think Michael has appropriated it.
Oh, you reckon he called them Gareths? Okay.
Yeah, I think we've introduced Gareth into a new version of rhyming slang.
Okay, I've just noticed that all of these emails are much more sweary when we lose horribly. Have you noticed that?
Well, I'm a lot more sweary when we lose horribly. I think I think this is when I had my rant about Egg Bolly, isn't it?
Yeah.
There were only 4 players I could pick from last night that were any good, and that was Petrovic, Silva, Gusto, and Nkunku. Petrovic stopped it from being 6 or 7. Really brilliant keeper. If he brings Sanchez back in when fit, I think JK should get the East Middle doing a slow clap in protest. Yes, I agree.
Yes, Silva was used to in 1966.
Silva was trying hard to marshal the defense, but let's be serious. Trying to marshal that defense is like trying to watch Jeffrey Boycott hit a 6. Neither is going to end well. Gusto, wow, what a player he's turned into this season. Reece James might find it hard to get back in when he's fit, as Gusto is on fire. And lastly, Nkunku, wow, what a player he could be when fully fit and up and running. He looks different class. The way he scored that goal was brilliant.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because now, in fact, even now, we've got back to the fact that Gusto had a brilliant game against Cité the weekend, but weirdly, Nkunku, because he then had a hip injury after he came back, now looks to be a little bit stiff, you could say, couldn't we? Like stiff as the Tin Man in One Man Over the Rainbow. No, that's One Man Went to Mow. No, in Somewhere Over the Rainbow. No, what's the name of it? What's the name?
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. We get there in the end. Yeah.
Thank you. We're this is the Chelsea Fancast, sponsored by Dementia Pills.
Who said that?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Is that you? Who were you?
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
On Poch. He is doing the best he can do with what he's got around him. I think the subs he made last night, minus Billy Wiz, changed the game up until we got robbed of a blatant pen in the second half. And then they scored the 4th. I don't think he should be sacked. I can't see anyone coming in and doing any better with the policy the owners want to use. And by prospects hoping they come good for profit in a few years is utter bollocks. So we need to stick with him, get him a striker, and see if he can at least get us top 4 next season. Do you think the same thing will happen in the cup final with Liverpool, and they will play us off the pitch, and with the media wanking Klopp off into a turkey baster so that they can breed more Klopps to wank off in years to come? We've already established, Michael, that it's actually going to be designed by AR and it'll be a Klopp bot. But anyway, honestly, I thought he had died when I saw some of the posts on Twitter. Everyone in the bonkers world of Klopp will be willing him on Sky and then TNT, just to name but 2. I hope we smash them and be the team that has written that was written off all season just to stop the Klopp parade. Fuck their quadruple up, and we ended up in Europe, then win the Conference League and stick the middle finger up to the world. But in the real world, you can you really see that happening? Well, you know, thanks to us drawing against City on Saturday, I can actually, Michael. Lastly, what did you guys make? Oh, good. A cricket question. Lastly, what did you guys make of the first test against India? Only if Chelsea had that grit and fight and determination, eh? Up the Chelsea, Michael, LeBeouf, Murray. We won the first test, didn't we?
Yes, we were wonderful.
Yeah, we were superb.
We were absolutely superb. A superb performance. But
we were shit the other day.
Unfortunately, I felt we had a couple of decisions in the second innings that went against us.
And clearly not out.
Root has unfortunately lost his mojo.
Well, Root needs to start batting like Root. I said this because I've got a WhatsApp group of all my old school chums, the ones that I go to the cricket with, funnily enough.
Oh, yeah.
So we end up nearly always talking about cricket. It's quite funny because Simon's got a real bee in his bonnet about young Johnny Bairstow, who he thinks should be pensioned off to Siberia. And I was saying Root needs to bat like Root and stop trying to be clever and play baseball, because he scores fast anyway. He doesn't need to play baseball because he's an attacking player and he scores fast.
Yeah.
I'm very delighted that they've got Ben Folkes playing as the wicket keeper.
Wonderful keeper.
He's the best wicket keeper in the world, I think.
Wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
But anyway, playing against India in India is a bit like playing Liverpool at Anfield. All the umpires are basically going to give the decisions for India. It has always happened and it always will.
And also the pitches are doctored accordingly, aren't they? If it was the IPL, the pitch would just be absolutely flat and straight, and the ball just disappears in the boundary. Mind you, I feel that
same over here with the seaming pitches.
Yeah, we create.
To be fair
for our bowlers, yeah. But I think we're making a decent fist of it. Actually, I've enjoyed.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
They need to come back.
They do, but it's only 2-1, and we'll see. I think it just needs a little change of luck, and also Rehan isn't the leg spinner. I don't think he's up to it. I'm afraid. I don't quite get why. I didn't understand why Wood didn't bowl in the second innings at all.
Well, I think you got to be careful. You got to be careful
in the first
yeah,
one.
but you got to be careful with Woody. You can't bowl him like a stock bowler. He needs to be bowled in 4 or 5 over spells and spaced out.
I wondered if he was injured because he didn't bowl at all.
Probably because he over fucking bowled him in the first innings, mate.
Yeah.
I don't know about Ahmed. He's all right. He's young. He's a bit like one of the Chelsea players, really. There's potential there. What was I going to say?
Hartley bowled better in the first test. He's wonderful, but
they need to win the toss, mate. I mean, the last 2 matches, India have won the toss. We've batted last, no chance. Out there because the wickets deteriorate in the 4th day. Boom. Yeah. So if they win the toss, it's a different game, mate. Different gravy, innit?
Yeah.
Anyway, I do believe it's your email next. Mark Smith
can I just comment a sec on?
Of course you can.
On Michael's mail. I think once again we're with it, that's sort of hindsight. We now know that it's. I almost once again, Michael, like to see what you think of it since we've seen the matches since, and also it'll be intriguing to see what happens at the weekend, given that we've improved since we lost to them. So I'm, let's get some mails talking about the development, because it hasn't been as dreadful as it was. This was a real nadir. This was a real low point. And we are seeing, as we keep mentioning, some shoots, aren't we, Chidge? Some shoots, little shoots, burgeoning shoots of growth, of bourgeonnement, as the French say. Don't know why I said that. God knows where that came from. Because it's the same word as burgeon, I think, probably. Yeah, isn't it? Probably right. Anybody? Any gardeners in? No? Anyway, good. Mark Smith, hi Chidge and JK. Just a thought, not sure if this has been mentioned before. Feel it could have been useful on Wednesday as a good football chant. Opening of that great Edwin Starr song, War. Just replace the word war with VAR. It's tailor-made, no ref pun intended. Very good. Could we also champion a move for all broadcasters to enhance their coverage further by offering alternative commentary, something with less bias, arse-licking? Yes, we know Liverpool were playing better, but please, it's embarrassing. Do they ever listen to themselves? Up the Chelsea, Mark E.A. Smith. So in other words, it needs to be VAR. VAR.
Good
VAR.
God.
Good God.
What is it good for?
Absolutely nothing. I'll say it again, yeah.
VAR.
Yeah. Well, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. I'll say it again. I have to say I love it.
I do.
I love it, actually. Love it.
It's very good.
Very good. You've given me.
I wish he was Mark E. Smith, not Mark E.A. Smith.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, but
although Marky Smith is in fact dead. Other than that,
yeah, that would be a problem. But yeah, but at least perhaps he's put the A in there deliberately because too many people kept asking him about his.
Hey, are you that mank bastard in the fall?
Yes.
Aye. No, I'm sorry. I mean, look, I know that he was a mank bastard from Manchester, but I've got to say, I love the Fall. They were a brilliant band. Absolutely brilliant band. Love them. Way out there. Brilliant. Anyway, Mark, that's brilliant. The second email of the night, I think. Well done. You managed to get 2 in part 1. Only George Spencer ever gets that privilege, so well done. Right. Philip Rawlings. Lovely Philip Rawlings, who I think was a recent Troubadour gathering. Greetings, Chidge and Duke of Kid. Just writing the day before the Wolves game and Troubadour event. There you go. I predicted it, and there it came to pass.
Can we explain the Wolves to people who don't know? Because some people don't seem to get that.
Go on, then. You explain the Wolves.
Well, there used to be a cartoon series called "It's a Wolf, It's a Wolf,
It's a Wolf." What cartoon was it, though?
It was called "It's a Wolf." No, I don't know what it was. Actually, I can't remember.
Okay. Extra points for those of you who are watching live.
I can't remember.
On YouTube or listening live on Mixlr. If you know the cartoon where it's the Wolves came from, because I can't remember, nor can JK, because we both got dementia. Early onset, I think.
Who said that? Oh, I've done that. I can't remember.
Already, we've done that one already. Well, we can't remember that we did that gag already.
Oh, I can't remember. Yeah. Who's that I've got behind me?
I don't know.
Hair?
I thought you meant the guy with the cap.
Yeah, who's that? Yeah.
I don't know. It's a steward, mate.
Yeah, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Good cap.
Yeah. It's probably Alex Stewart.
Nah.
Terrible. We need a tumbleweed graphic, don't we? Now we're on video.
Or a sound effect. I think now we're on video. We need sound effects.
I could make a tumblewead graphic because I've got headliner. So I just need to go and get a stock image of tumbleweed.
Eyeliner.
Get the audio.
Headliner, did you say headliner? Eyeliner.
Headliner.
Oh, okay.
It's where I make the video stings, isn't it?
Okay. I think we ought to have more things like that. How about I have a studio manager who comes in and plays sound effects?
No. Well, no. Your daughter could do that.
Yes, she could.
Bless her heart, they'd probably just be what she wanted to play and have nothing to do with whether they should be, which would actually make it brilliant.
It would make it very surreal.
I know, well, I love surreal. I'm all for surreal, mate.
Yeah.
You know, Chelsea Fancast meets Monty Python. Why not?
Hey.
Well, anyway, Philip Rawlings, just writing the day before the Wolves game and Troubadour event, as well as my normal moans about Sterling, I'm getting more concerned about our manager and his ability to get the best out of our team. My first concern was during the Palace game, which in the first half was one of our best performances with Nkunku playing a whole match. Hang on, I've just whizzed up too fast. Before further injury. And hang on a minute. Breaking news. Nathan, who is not one to argue with, because he's usually got his facts right, he said it was called It's a Wolf. I don't think it was, Nathan, but hey, I'm not going to argue with you.
Surely it's a wolf.
Well, it's a wolf. Yeah. I know Mark Meehan's listening somewhere, so he will probably WhatsApp me because Mark's too important to write messages in the group. He'll just WhatsApp us and let us know there. But anyway, where were we? Nkunku playing a whole match before further injury and combining well with Mudryk, but not sure if it was just me. But after conceding that stupid equaliser, there was a 20-minute period in the second half where we seemed to rush to take free kick so quickly it just led to a 2-yard pass, normally in our half, and after another 15 passes. And if we hadn't been pressurised, it normally went back to the goalkeeper. Luckily, we got that penalty. Otherwise, the manager would have had to explain negative use of free kicks. Then along to Luton, and after an hour of dominance, suddenly we conceded, and it was panic stations and relying on our keeper to get 3 points. Again, it was starting with Broja and Jackson that worked so well at Wolves, laugh out loud. How can a competent manager make the same mistake twice? Imagine if Harry Potter did that. He would have been crucified. Yes. Oh, you mean Graham Potter? Right, yeah. I was thinking, Harry Potter? He would just be whizzing around.
It is dementia, isn't it? We've forgotten already that he was called Harry from time to time.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking that Harry Potter would have gone around the pitch going, Expelliarmus!
Yes, he would have done, wouldn't he? Yeah.
And he would have had about as much use as what he did say. Anyway.
But he would have been playing Quidditch, wouldn't he, rather than football?
He probably would, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Also, are his substitutions totally baffling all season? His use of Maatsen in weird positions sums up the strange way he uses subs. Very rarely does he sub like for like.
Interesting. Maatsen has been player of the month, hasn't he, for Dortmund? Playing fullback. Who'd have thunk it?
I know. It's very irritating. Right, but on to Preston, where I couldn't get to as I broke down on the way to the games, had to watch on my phone. Oh, Phil, that's terrible. Again, he seemed to wait till halftime to let the players know they were playing a championship team. Why did he not tell them before the game? So a tale of two halves. Then the shambles of Middlesbrough, which plenty has been said to arrive at Fulham. Hang on, I got that all wrong. Then the shambles of Middlesbrough, which plenty has been said to arrive at Fulham match, where the team played well, but again held on at the end as they couldn't score. So then the win against a very poor Middlesbrough and a spirited game against Villa then went back, as JK said, over 400 steps backwards at Anfield, although we could still have made a match of it with a decent referee. But over the games, the team selection is all over the place. As I said before, the reliance on Sterling. God, Poch actually said Sterling was playing consistently well. So he'll play every game at a peak of 7 out of 10, while others are dropped or held back if they don't excel in 20 minutes as a sub. Although, of course, subsequently he did drop Sterling for being a complete plum. Although I know Mudryk has had poor games, but how has he been treated? A good game against Palace, then dropped for Luton. 61 minutes against Preston, 27 minutes as a sub at Borough. Dropped against Fulham, 45 minutes against Borough, 13 minutes against Villa, and second half against Liverpool. So I think he, above all others, needs a consistent run, as I'm sure there's a player in there.
No, we're not sure anymore, are we?
No, we're not. And Poch, over the same time, always plays Sterling, however badly he plays. Look, I mean, just I feel that this is actually, I might as well get to the end. So I do worry about the manager, although we can't risk changing again. So now we have to hope our home form continues tomorrow, and then I have the pleasure of going to Villa on Wednesday and hope we find a way to turn the away form round, which of course we did. Then I'm
brilliantly,
off to
Chidge.
yeah,
Brilliantly,
exactly.
Chidge.
Then I'm off to Armenia on Thursday to see my son at half term. So we'll be hoping to find some coverage of the Palace game, which will kick off at 12 midnight local time. Still hope the Troubadour event goes well tomorrow after a resounding win. Well, that didn't work out, did it, Phil? But we had a great time in the Troubadour. Philip Rawlings. I mean, look, two things I would say. One is that I think there's some valid criticisms there. You could argue that his treatment of Mudryk is a bit odd. The fact that he's kept Sterling in all the time is a bit odd. But and Maatsen is an obvious one, and playing other people out of position too. But I would say I do think he has been hamstrung, no pun intended, by all the injuries that we've had. And I think over the last few games we've seen that I think, I think most Chelsea supporters could now name their best side bar one or two players. So, it's that back four at the moment. Petrovic in goal, that back four, Moises and Fernandes, Gallagher, Palmer start. And then, Jackson looks good on the left. Sterling probably gets the nod ahead of Nkunku. I think that's what we're seeing. And I think the trouble is he has been really flummoxed by injuries a lot of the time. The other thing that we often say and have done in the past, JK, is that it's all right for us to bitch and moan about why he's not playing certain players, but none of us are privy to what he sees on the training pitch. And Poch, we know this for a fact, goes very heavily on what he sees on the training pitch. And that's possibly why the likes of Nkunku, Lavia and Mudryk have not had the amount of minutes. I know that the other two have been injured, but he was saying earlier on in the season that they're kind of wandering around like they deserve a place because of who they are, not what they're doing on the training pitch. So maybe that has something to do with it.
And vice versa. I think that players might get in if they play well on the training pitch. I think Mudryk's an example, and then plays 45 minutes of abject uselessness. And then I think he's now beginning to think, well, they're not doing it on the pitch. Perhaps I don't pay as much attention to them on the training field, or perhaps the others are playing better, or perhaps he's now going against his original philosophy and thinks, well, this lot are playing, the pattern of them, they're getting used to each other. They're playing more as a team, which I think is what's been happening recently. We're seeing more of a team ethic, a team performance. So, but I think as we've said in the recent Fancasts, it's got so much better with having two proper wingers, two proper fullbacks to overlap, and allows Desazi to play in his proper position of centre half, and both of them, Colwill as well, because Colwill hasn't been a fullback, and I think we've been consequently slightly unfair on them. And I think they've done okay, but they were having to make do because they had so many injuries to the proper players. I'm intrigued to see that Cucurella seems to have sort of just gone off the radar. I think he's still returning to fitness, but nonetheless, I'm not convinced that we're going to see him again. And I'm afraid I'm pleased. I'm sorry about that. But interestingly, there's been an article in the Athletic about Malang Sarr, who apparently is being treated rather badly at the moment. Yeah. by the club, who the club have come up with a theory, of course, that goes against the one that he's been telling everybody, that because he's saying that he's been just forced to train with the under 21s, and he thought he was going off to Rennes, and then the whole thing fell apart. Then he apparently asked for kind of his contract to be paid up, and then he was quoted as saying, "No, I just wanted to get away. I didn't care about my contract." I don't know what's been going on there. We're hearing different views all the time, aren't we?
Well, we don't know the truth, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But it does confirm some of the suspicions I've had in other areas and football areas where this club or this current ownership do not treat people very well. So it would fit in with that. But the reality is we don't know. We're not there. Now, listen, far more important than the football. I have confirmation from Colin Tunner. Now, by the way, Colin, I think, has also received his Kerry Dixon banner, and he's posted a picture on X. So well done, Colin. Colin says, "It's the Wolf." That was, in fact, the name of the show. So I take it all back, Nathan. As always, I should know better by now never to question you, because you're always right.
Is it It's the Wolf or It's a Wolf?
No, It's the Wolf.
It's the Wolf. Okay.
Right, It's the Wolf followed the comic exploit. I love this. He's written this like a BBC review. It's the Wolf followed the comic exploits of a wolf named Mildew, who aspires to catch and eat a sure-footed lamb named Lambsy, but is always thwarted by the dog Bristlehound. So there we go. It's all coming back to me.
I don't know how I missed that, because it sounds great.
Oh, it's bound to be on YouTube. Anyway, stop watching us and then go and have a look at YouTube for It's a Wolf. In fact, me and JK will do that in the break. We may even come back playing that. I can be the Wolf, you can be Lambsy. Is that all right?
Thank you very much. Which one of us will be Bristlehound?
That's a very good question. I will choose a guest.
I'll try and play him as well. Oh, a guest could do that as well. Yeah, somebody on Mixler could do that.
Guess what?
What?
We got another email from John Kirk. So two.
John.
So there are two people who have both got two emails in the same part. This is unheard of. This just shows you how flaming long it's been since we've done an In Off the Post.
And he's watched the Wolves game, which was another disaster, of course.
It's your email too, isn't it?
Yes. So let's see.
I was about to nick, as you probably wisely noticed.
Yeah, I noticed. That's why I started talking a bit more as well. Hey, gents, just an update to my last emails. We're currently 1-4 down to Wolves. Oh, just fuck off, the lot of you. And I'm now going to attempt to put it to a song, actually. Fuck off, Bowley. Fuck off, Egbali. Fuck off, Clear Lake. Fuck off, Winstanley. Fuck off, Stewart. Fuck off, Pochettino. Had enough. They fucking ruined this club. After 38 years, I can't believe what's been done to this club. I remember being shite before. I remember it being shite before, but it's a whole different kettle of fish this time round. Best, John. Now, there is a man fed up.
That's how I felt after Wolves.
I agree. You and me both. We all did. Yeah. We were fuming. We were fuming. But once again, sorry, because of hindsight, there's been a little bit of improvement. So yes, good. But lovely, John. Thank you for voicing that disquiet, because I love it. Thank you, mate.
Yeah, definitely. Right. Last email for this part is from James Yu. Hello, gentlemen. How are you, in fact? Hello, gentlemen. If the owners are going to insist on keeping Poch, they have to sack Poch's backroom staff. They're either blind yes men or just stupid. There's been a constant lack of cohesion, players out of position, running into each other, and the passing has been either too direct or to no one, resulting in easy pickings for the opposition, transitional play resulting in goals. This team is as sloppy as hell. In my opinion, the entire mess is all on coaching. Almost 8 months have passed, and there's been no improvement in the team. Excuse me. There better be big changes for this upcoming summer, or Chelsea will be languishing in mid-table forever and facing constant point deduction threats due to PSR rules and Cobham graduates being sold to the highest bidder like some black market auction house. In 10 years, Bowley & Co. will be selling Chelsea for pennies on the dollar. Fuck's sakes. James, I love you. That's as moany and bitchy and ranty as almost I can be. And that's no mean feat. Who knows, mate? Who knows? I mean, I don't know. I this is a constant conflict, I think, for so many Chelsea supporters. Is it the manager or is it the players? Is it the chicken or is it the egg? And I'm a therapist. I don't have an answer for this at all. I've got to be honest with you. I will. You know, and I think this just depends on what kind of a person you are. For me, I always blame the players. Other people will always blame the manager. I just think that some football players are basically fucking stupid, and you can tell them and tell them and tell them and tell them until you're blue in the face, and they still don't fucking do it on the pitch. You know, and I don't know. Maybe I'm being unfair and to human beings, but I don't know. What do you think, JK?
Oh, Chidge. You know, I mean, being Chelsea, we might just win it at the weekend, and we might just, you know, beat Leeds and then end up winning the FA Cup this season. And so it becomes a very different season, doesn't it? Having said that, we might suddenly go on a run, be relegated. So, I mean, who knows? Who knows this season? This is like a little. This is a bit of the season in aspic, isn't it? Caught in aspic when we were completely shite, whereas suddenly we've got less shite in the past few weeks. So this could all happen. I agree with you, James. All of it could happen, and yet, you know, it might just not. So we might get into into the Europe Conference by the scruff of our necks at the very end of the season. I mean, as I say, I'm seeing light at the end of the tunnel. It's a dim light at the moment. It's a dim grey light with, you know, speckles of green in it and a bit puce coloured. But nonetheless, we're still seeing some of it. So, you know, let's hope that it becomes blaring and blinds us. Blinded by the light. Was it what was the next line of that, Chidge?
Chacked up like a deuce, by the light.
Another lover in the night, was it? Chacked up like a deuce, no lover in the blinded by the light. But yeah,
was it the Rolling Stones or something?
No, it was Manfred Mann's Earth Band, but it was also it was a Bruce Springsteen song.
Yes, it was. It was indeed. That I also knew. You'd be surprised to know.
Yeah.
Okay, right. That's pretty much it for part one. Apart from this, a couple of pluggeroonies. Do you want a copy of that? Yes, this.
God, you can hold it up, can't you? Amazing.
What am I talking about? For those of you listening in black and white, I am holding up a copy of Ye Old CFC UK fanzine. This one has got the absolute legend, talking to music, Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols on there. This is January's copy. But if you want that, a copy just like this. Whoops, that's a bit weird. It disappeared. There you go. All you have to do is rock up to the CFC UK stall opposite Fulham Broadway on a match day, or get it from one of the vendors who will be shouting, "Hurry up, it's only £1" along Fulham Road on a match day for £1. Indeed, only £1. If you can't be at a match, and Dave sells them at the away games as well, there is another way to do it, and that is to subscribe annually to CFC UK by emailing fanzine@cfcuk.net. It's 20 quid in Europe, 45 quid 20 quid in the UK, 45 quid in Europe, 60 quid in the rest of the world. You can also get, if you prefer, a digital copy, a PDF, emailed to you once a month, and that will cost you 6 quid for a year, or £1 each. You can pay via PayPal, and as always, we mention the Chelsea pitch owners. If you want to own a bit of Chelsea properly, you get to own the club. How lovely is this? Get yourself a CPO share, which means you'll have a share of the freehold of the stadium, which of course protects it from being sold to a property developer or some such in the future, i.e. we stay playing football at Stamford Bridge, our spiritual home forever. Shares are priced between 110 quid for an electronic share up to about 175 quid for a signed share by a player. So there you go. Go to chelseafc.com and search for Chelsea pitch owners. Now, we will be back after a very short break. Okay, full back Captain Mannering mode. Guess the deliberate mistake, JK.
You forgot to record it.
No, I played the wrong sting.
Oh yeah, you played the opening titles.
I know, but I think we're allowed. By the way, hello everybody, we're back. I'm Stanford Chidge. He down there is Jonathan Kidd.
Hello.
We are the Chelsea Fancast, and this is In Off the Post, our occasional show where we read out the genius-like emails sent in by our wonderful, beautiful listeners. So there you go. You seem on the verge of saying something, JK.
Well, I was going to say I wanted to go and get a cup of tea, but I can't clearly, can I? Because we've gone live again.
Yeah, I did. Well, I know. Yeah, sorry.
Not only did we play the wrong music, but we didn't even say we're going to take a 2-minute break.
I know.
A quick cup of tea and a banana.
Well, I could just. Do you want to make a cup of tea?
No. We can get on. I like having a moist.
I could keep playing that sting.
Moistened set of pipes.
I could keep playing that sting.
You could. No. Let's carry on. And if I get parched halfway through, I'll just say I've got to go and have a waz, Chidge, and you'll just have to accept it. Actually, I might go when you're doing reading one of them. How about that?
Well, you could do, which would be a bit rude.
It would be very rude, and people will say, "Where's he gone?" Well, I could pretend I've ducked down to tie my shoelaces, or something like that. Or
you could do it while you're reading one of the ones you're supposed to read. That would be even more rude.
That would be practically impossible, wouldn't it? How would I be still on camera? I'd have to shout it from the other room.
Yeah,
that wouldn't work well.
Funny. Yeah, anyway, the honor, as always, befalls to you first.
It's from Tate Osborne.
The Tate Osborne.
I'm so sorry, the Tate. The Tate. It's Tate.
Whatever you do, don't call him Little Man Tate.
Oh, very good. Was that Dustin Hoffman, wasn't it?
I don't know, mate.
Clever.
By the way, can you hear me just as well without the mic?
I can hear you, but not just as well.
So I'm a bit low level and shit.
You're low level. Wouldn't say shit, Chidge. Never shit.
I kind of need the mic, really, don't I?
Yeah. In the same way that I think. Am I louder if I do that?
No, you sound perfect. I sound much better now. Rich.
You sound sexier, actually. You've got more of a sexy voice now.
So basically, they either get the sexy voice,
okay,
without the sexy face,
or
they get the sexy face without the sexy voice.
Yeah, it's true.
You choose. We'll run a poll later.
It's true, and I'm at an angle, so you can actually. My mic's next to me, so you do get to see the visage, but you get to see the bad eye. Unfortunately, the eye infection. This is the trouble, and the slightly dodgy moustache and the unshaven bits. And I've got a hat on because I'm cold. Everybody,
you're not helping yourself because you are very. You're in what we used to call in the trade. You're in a big close up.
I'm in a BCU. I'm in an enormous BCU. Yeah.
No, there's another one. There's one up from a BCU, isn't there? Is it a VBCU?
FBCU.
That's like. Have you ever heard the expression? You might have heard of this because you've done enough adverts. When I was making commercials a long time ago, that we used to have an expression. We used to call them a certain type of advert a 2CK. Do you know what 2CK is?
2CK, too close for comfort. No.
I'll put it this way: the C is Gareth.
Yes.
So 2 Gareths in a kitchen. We used to call them that. So you know those kind of classic ads like Purcell Automatic.
Yeah, or even Fairy. But if you see, they've even got the same commercial.
Cornflakes would be one. Oh, mate, that's a 2CK ad.
The Fairy one now, they've got a small boy talking about waiting to see when the fairy bottle would be ready because he's been waiting for ages and ages to cut the top off to make it into a rocket. And may I say that I'm old enough to remember that same commercial from 40 years ago. Exactly the same thing with a little boy.
A penny farthing instead. He wanted
he was in black and white with a small cap, baker's boy cap.
Was he really?
He was speaking like that because
was he really?
That's right.
It was probably me when I was a nipper.
Probably you when you were little. That's
absolutely no, I was a nipper, not little.
I'm so sorry. When you were a nipper. That's
you
right.
Shut your mouth, mush.
Shut your mouth, mush. Shut your mush mouth, surely. Shut your mush.
No, but mush doesn't mean mouth down here.
What does it mean?
I can't repeat. It's probably like another euphemism for Gareth.
Is it arsehole?
It could be.
That might be. Shut your arsehole, mush. No, that wouldn't work, would it? Anyway.
All right.
Tate. Where were we? Tate Osborne. It says, and Chidge, JK, and potential guest. Tate. It's in off the post. It's just us two. No potential.
He's hedging his bets, mate. He's allowed to do that.
Well, just in case somebody else comes in for the hell of it.
You never know.
You might do that. Yeah.
Occasionally we have.
Rarely ever for in off the post.
Occasionally we've done it in the show when there's been absolutely bugger all to talk.
Oh, that's true. That's true. There's been nothing to talk about, so we've done it. It's been on a day when there hasn't been anything happening the following week. You're right. You're absolutely right. Anyway, he says, I've had a few fleeting thoughts. No, he hasn't. I've had a few fleeting thoughts lately. I thought I'd jot them down. They might sound crazy. Let's hope for one logical point. We'll see. Okay. Sock it to us, Tate. The first one might be the most bonkers. It's a pretty raw idea, so forgive me if it's not foolproof. We all know how atrocious the refereeing is, right? And how useless VAR is, right? I think one of the main issues with VAR is they aren't in the heat of the moment. They're isolated in a closet out in Stockley Park with screens everywhere. They're watching the game from every angle in slow motion and over-analysing everything. Yeah, possibly, yeah, because I tend to watch these things and think, it's a penalty. That's what happens in my head. I watch them on the box and I think, that's a penalty immediately. And then they spend ages looking at it. You think, yeah, it's a penalty. It's definitely a penalty. And then spend ages and ages and ages. You're thinking, it was a penalty when I looked at it about 6 minutes ago. How the fuck is it taking them so long to see that it's a penalty? What's the matter with them? And then they don't give it as a penalty. And you think, what on earth? How did they miss that? Or they give it as a penalty, which is even worse because you think, well, why didn't they get it the first time? Anyway, they're taking their sweet time out of the spotlight with no pressure from the fans, players, or coaches. See, I would disagree with you. I think they're absolutely shitting themselves that it's taking them so long to do it. And that's one of the problems. So they think, I don't know what to do. I've got to make a decision. And the other thing you have to remember is they're not the sharpest tools in the box. Let's be honest about this. They're not. We're not looking at, we're not looking at computer speedy brains going on there. We're looking at people going, oh, hang on, if I remember rightly, actually, I'm being terribly on PC. I can't do that. I'll stop. Ignore, rewind. They're taking their sweet time out of the spotlight with no pressure from the fans, players, or coaches. Now, I think there is pressure on them, I would say. The fans have no idea what's going on. That is dreadful, I agree. After 5 or more minutes, they double check what colour shirts each player is wearing. I agree. Give the decision to the red one. I agree with that as well. My idea is, what if instead of one main referee, we have 2 main refs? Double the trouble. I think they've tried this. This is the trouble, you see. They've tried this before. Double the trouble. Imagine the Baldis, Gareth and Tierney and Taylor reffing a Chelsea game together. Well, they'd probably row, though, wouldn't they? They'd probably want to be the biggest ego. So I'm not sure that would work. They think they tried 2 refs. I think they tried a hell of a lot of officials in the 30s. I could be wrong. Does Nathan know about this? Nathan, do you remember when they did this? Because they definitely had one ref in each half. I'm not sure it ended well. Anyway, back to the email. Fucking hell, we'd be better off forfeiting before kickoff. At least we'd spare a few injuries. I can already imagine how much JK is cringing at the thought of seeing the 2 bald twins plodding around the centre circle. On a serious note, it wouldn't be plodding around the centre circle, it would be in each half, you see. Sorry to be pedantic. Anyway, on a serious note, what if there were 2 referees on the pitch with equal authority? The closest referee gives the call, and for the critical decisions, penalties, red cards, etc., they both have to agree. But then, if they both agree, the decision is given. If they disagree, then VAR comes in. The trouble is, they'd both get it wrong, wouldn't they, on the pitch? And they both demand that what their decision was the correct one. They'd actually, I still don't get this because they're so egotistical. They would have to be correct. Taylor would be the one who had to be correct. Unless, of course, as you say, they're part of the same club and he's a mate. So perhaps they do after you, Claude. No, you make the decision. No, you make the, anyway. I just feel as though an extra set of eyes who's seeing the play from a different angle also feels the atmosphere and pressures of the match wouldn't be a bad thing. It also adds accountability. But what they're trying to do at the moment, you see, Tate, is to allow the referee to. They're trying to reward the on-field decision. That's why they're not giving as many. Because if the referee makes a decision and they think, okay, it's 50-50, he might be right, they do what the referee says. And frequently they then don't look at another angle because they think, well, that angle looked all right. And frequently the referee, no matter how close he is, has got it wrong, as we've discovered on several occasions when penalties have been given. So I don't think that works either, I'm afraid. Anyway, it also adds, I'm sorry, I keep interrupting your flow, but it also adds accountability. For example, if there were 2 referees on the pitch at Anfield last week, both waved off Nkunku's penalty, then it would basically confirm corruption. Given how stonewall it was. Yes, I would agree with that because he was absolutely fouled. It was ridiculous that VAR never gave it. He was just stepped on. You could argue 2 referees already did wave that on, though, since Tierney did. Whoever the hopeless referee on VAR did as well. Absolutely. Having 2 referees on the pitch would eliminate this clear and obvious error bullshit, as each ref would give it as they see it live in the moment. If there's a disagreement between the two, VAR can then choose the correct outcome without considering whether referee's original call is a clear and obvious area. But then what would happen if both of them got it wrong? Would VAR still intervene, or would they say, well, the referees have both agreed? So what do we do? Are we allowed to come in and say, no, you both got it wrong? Because I'm afraid I think that they both would get it wrong, because they'd both look at it from you can't have both of them running around the pitch, because it'd be too many officials on the pitch. But if one was in one half, he couldn't see it. And see, the thing is, what's getting in the way here? I'm sorry to flag this up, but they have got other officials with them, the linesman, the assistant referee, who apparently don't seem to make any difference nowadays. They don't have a view, because the number of times the other day, I think Tierney gave, I think it was that very one, surely the linesman could have seen through and seen that Nkunku was stepped upon. He wasn't even consulted. He didn't even say, I saw it. He surely must have seen it. And I think they're so worried, linesmen, about offside, that they're almost not consulted anymore, or they're afraid of getting it wrong. And I think there's a lot of fear with the refs. That's why the strutting idiot who makes all the decisions tends to be believed. But they have got this thing at the moment that they go with the referee's on-screen decision if they don't think it's been too much of an error. So, you're stuffed, really, because what you would love to have is the VAR ref saying, I'm sorry, you've absolutely got it wrong. You have to look at the monitor, which happens obviously from time to time. But even then, the ref has the final word, which I suppose is fair enough. But when it's so obvious, you just think, oh, bloody hell. Why can't he just say, yes, all right, you think it's a penalty, I'll give the penalty, because the bloke's a ref at the other end. Anyway, where were we? I do believe this would make the mysterious VAR reviews fewer and far between, would improve the quality of the refereeing. They have to hold each other accountable. They both experience the incident at game speed in the stadium. As it turns out, ice hockey in the States has multiple referees. Well, absolutely, that I agree, absolutely. They can't agree on a call. Decision is deferred to the video reviewers, as does American football. Each team also gets one challenge per game as well, which I think would be a nice addition in football to further reduce VAR's ever-present unwanted impact. Talk about the Americanization of football. But I agree as well. I think a challenge should be fine. I also think they should implement the sin bin aspect for dissent. I think they should have sin bins. I think it would work. It works in rugby. I don't understand why they're so slow to implement these things. I think even Poch, when asked the other day about sin bins, said, oh, well, what would happen if the goalkeeper got sin bin? Well, it's pretty obvious. You just bring on a sub goalkeeper for that period and one of the outfield players goes off. I don't see why that's a problem. Anyway, let's move on to strikers. Broja's gone on loan. I agree with what was said on the previous podcast. Loaning Broja seems like a desperate attempt to squeeze more money out of him. Well, it might actually. The trouble is that he can't get into the Fulham side because that chap, Muniz, is scored 4 out of 5, suddenly become good. But anyway, he wouldn't get. I was hoping he would go to Fulham and actually get some game time, and it might relax him. It might make him more confident because he's been looking so. I think it was expressed earlier on. Little boy lost, hasn't he? He wouldn't get many minutes behind Jackson and Nkunku. Now, I think that's one of the reasons that he was loaned out. I think once Jackson came back, so his sexy pure profit value would diminish. If it is true, his price would go up. If he can find some form at Fulham, maybe we'll get 40 mil for him in the summer. I don't mind this move, as he's definitely not Chelsea standard. No, he's not. That said, what are our standards these days? Yes, it's a pretty low bar, but you hope surely they could see that he doesn't come up to that. His standard when he was at Bournemouth, when he was playing well, was, I think, he had great potential. He needs to refine that somewhere. The problem lies with the fact we didn't bring someone in to replace him in the squad. Jackson and Nkunku and Washington are our options. I find it amusing Poch considers Washington as an option in the press conferences when he's probably amassed less than an hour of football all season. Ironically, we recalled Datro Fofana from Union Berlin. Didn't work out for him there. Clearly, when we saw him briefly last season, he definitely had a little bit about him. Gone to Burnley after 2 sub-appearances. He's clocked him with a lovely assist at the Etihad and a brace to rescue a point versus Fulham. Surely he would have been a better option in our squad than Washington. But I think what we've seen over the last few weeks is that he's not actually. He hasn't been playing with a striker. He's been playing with Palmer and Sterling and another winger, Madueke or whoever Chidge. Who's he been playing with? The other one.
I don't know. I'm suffering from dementia.
Oh, yeah.
As we've already discovered tonight.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to strikers. Bro, oh, we've done that bit already.
You're having a laugh, mate.
Sorry,
mate. That's poor. Very poor.
Very poor, yeah. It's probably worth mentioning Benzema was available to acquire on loan as well. But there was a theory he didn't want to come to us, wasn't there? Do you remember that? Somebody said, no, he didn't want to come. He thought we weren't good enough. The Abramovich Chelsea would not have passed up the opportunity to get someone like Benzema in. Ballon d'Or winner, 350-plus career goals, 5 Champions Leagues. He's the definition of Galactico. Our current squad profile is crying out for someone like him. Clearly, I'm gutted we missed out. His wages were apparently a big reason why he didn't end up leaving the Middle East. But I think all these so-called brilliant accountants at our club could have figured something out. I'm adding this section. There's more. This is the longest email in the world. I'm adding this section after the dismal 4-1 defeat to Wolves. I think it's time to question Pochettino. Still bottom half, negative goal difference. We currently have 1 less point we did at this stage last season. Can't name a player who's improved. All have either got worse or stayed the same. I'm not saying this mess is entirely his fault. It most certainly isn't, but he should be doing better. Just like Potter, we're willing to give him time until we realise we weren't making progress. I don't see any progress. I don't see any progress Pochettino's made either. His press conferences are ridden with excuses, much like Potter's were. I'm not defending Potter here, but he didn't have the brilliance of Cole Palmer to rely on like Poch does. If we're not careful, our only top-class footballers like Palmer and Nkunku will be chatting to their agents this summer. Show up at Wembley and beat Vermin, or I want to see him packing his bags. I don't see us getting 8th, therefore Conference League. So if we lose the final, we won't have European football again. He's just said in his post-match press conference, God, this is detailed, that he's not good enough. How can you say that as a manager and expect the players to believe in you? Even Bell Silva has been tweeting during the match, calling for him to go. It's time to change. If you wait any longer, it'll be too late. Time to change. If you wait any longer, it'll be too late. She obviously talks to Thiago about Chelsea and the current situation. So I can't imagine she would say that if Thiago was fond of Poch and saw a promising future under him. Maybe he's beginning to lose the dressing room. When we were linked with Poch at the end of last season, there's only a little bit more to go, everybody. Okay. When we were linked with Poch at the end of last season, I remember saying this in an email to you. And Poch, well, no thanks. Bottle job in my eyes. We've seen under Potter that coaches have a level. Poch isn't Chelsea's standard for me. Has never excited me. Not to mention his surname begins with P. Oh, of course. So foolish of us. We've only ever had 2 managers with a P surname. These 2 managers have the lowest win percentage in club history. Ian Porterfield with 31%. Graham Potter with 29.4%. So, no Poch, please. Since his appointment, I've tried to warm to him and support him, of course. I've now lost faith. What I initially said is proving true. Well, yes, and not at the moment. Not at the moment, actually. Things are looking pretty bleak for the final in a couple of weeks at this rate, but suddenly it's turned around. What if we hired Mourinho as a 1-game contract? I have a feeling Mourinho's ego would accept it, probably win somehow. My dad even suggested, ditch the Spurs guy and bring in the Chelsea man for the final. Thanks as always for the pod. Cheers. Oh, Thiago Silva. Oh, Thiago Silva. That's written on the page, by the way.
Because Tate looks like Thiago Silva, if you recall.
Of course, I remember that well. He does.
Yes,
indeed
he does.
Tate, very good. I'm sorry that I spent ages farting about with the idea of the 2 men, but 2 referees. Because has Nathan come in with a view?
No, they've all gone home, mate. They got bored of you.
They got bored with it.
About an hour and a half.
I did. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I was a bit tedious with it. I do apologise, but it piqued my interest. That I was piqued by it. You know, Piqued. You know that expression, piqued.
Yes, as in Nelson Piqué.
Yeah.
Well, seeing as we're on a Brazilian theme.
Yeah, Nelson Piqué, Chidge. Yeah.
Nobody peaked quite like Nelson Piqué. Oh dear! I'll tell you, it's the worst thing ever to laugh at your own jokes. It's something I do far too much of. But anyway,
no, Chidge, never.
I'm a funny guy. What can I say?
Chidge, well done.
No, well read, mate. Tate, hope you're well, mate. Lovely to hear from you. I don't agree with everything you say there. I mean, but it's kind of we talked about that a minute ago. I think some of us will blame the manager, some of us will blame the players, some of us will blame the owners, some of them will blame everybody. Everybody's different. I err on the side of the players being tits. You blame the manager, which is fair enough, right? This is from an old mate of ours, Mr. JP McCrate. JP, your name sounds like you should be a horse trainer. You know, JP McManus, I think, wasn't it? As one of the famous horse trainers. Anyway, greeting, gents. It's the Monday after the dismal Chelsea v. the Wolves savaging us at our fortress. My emotions are high, and I'm in dire need of Chelsea Fancast therapy, which, God willing, we will all get to dissolve into our brain matter this evening or through the week in a podcast. This email is addressing this hopeless board and current feelings after a fair amount of time running our club. I felt ever since this appointment that it wasn't right, but we were bullied into this path only because of Roman's dismissal and being a clear target of vilification that lapped into our emotions of a war that no one asked for. You only won by default of bidding. The hard work was to convince us fans that you were worthy advocates after this period. I'm stating that you have failed and you are now the enemy of our club. Contract handling, a failure. How on earth you felt that buying so many promising youth at high amounts and stupidly over the top extensions was a pathetic strategic move. Not only are there clearly a lot of lack of any ability to get these signings playing well, Mudryk, get rid. As well as this, you've removed all the experience from a squad that had Champions League winners and Premier League experience. How stupidly naive was this? You're telling me you didn't have any possible skills to keep even Mason Mount? Well, they got him out, mate. This guy loved the club, and for all the money you threw away, you couldn't even convince him. Was Mudryk worth the money? That's just one of an endless mess of players you brought that has failed. I'll be generous. I'll give you Palmer. This again shows you are not worthy of running our club and the enemy. I tire of you. Managers, your stupid attempts at losing a world-class manager for the serial mid-table on Potter. We gave it a chance, and I was prepared to see it through. But in the end, a foolish move. It was clear to see he wasn't an elite coach. And then came Frank. A tectonic candy. I like that. Only because the fans turned on you. Frankly, a worse mess because it only highlighted you made a mess of our club by trying to force this change. As well as this, the news of your interferences and attention-seeking meetings are again failing. Or failing, I apologise. You've now put another manager in there. To be fair, I quite like this one, but evidently he's inherited a squad of failings and not something of his choosing. He took the job because it paid and gave him a project to come back to the best league in the world. Tell me, has Emma Hayes suffered? Nope. Why? Because she kept what she wanted and what was working. And now she's off at the end of the summer or the beginning of the summer, JP. Anyway, staff, your appointment of mid-table directors. If you wanted Brighton, then you should have bought that one. You've erased all previous success and stamped your own into it. Well, I haven't had any success yet. Can you tell me how this is working out to be a great appointment? Name me one player that's been appointed again. I'll discount Palmer for you. It's been that there's been a worthy stamp of saying this has been a good appointment. Performance, you put us into a spiral and we're lucky not to be relegated this first time. And again, here we are, wondering, will we make it? You've left a manager to always explain himself to the players, feed us pathetic photos of training and videos of all of this dreadful fake display of unity and great ability to put a ball away. And yet, week in, week out, we have a bipolar team of stuttering displays. I would think it would go a long way to your loyal supporter base to show them your failings. Not that you would ever, and help us understand the project and what you're doing. You behave in a way that suggests the club's had it wrong all along. Well, guess what? You're doing it worse than they ever did. Where is the progression? Because we're not seeing it. Fans, you've made a fatal mistake of thinking we'll be loyal and understanding. This isn't Torres. This is our club, and you're just deputising for us. Remember that. You're playing the wrong game in underestimating us. I want you out of our club. We're tired of this performance. Get on your wagon and remove yourselves. And please, fans, supporters, now is not the time to think so shallow of Poch. Yes, he has accountability, but there is a much deeper rooted problem at play here, and it's not not at his level this all falls into. Warm regards to my blue brothers and sisters. JP, I can sense that you're angry. Can you sense that, JK?
Whew. Steaming out of your ears, Chidge, when you were reading it. Spuming. Yeah. Blimey.
Don't blame him, mate. I felt much the same after the Wolves debacle. Oh, yeah. By the way, breaking news. Ready for some breaking news?
Yeah.
Blinded by the light, Revved up like a deuce, another runner in the night.
I never understood. Blinded by the light. I never got that from the.
Tell me what this is all about.
Manfred Mann singer.
You're a man of the 60s. I don't understand this. Madmen, drummers, bummers, Indians in the summer with a teenage diplomat, in the dumps with the mumps as the adolescent pumps his way into his hat.
Yes, it's just rhyming.
Did they take too much acid in the 60s or something?
No, I just think you just stick anything you wanted down. You think what the in the dumps where the mumps, with pumps into his hat. I mean, it's just rhymes,
gibberish,
isn't it?
mate.
It is. It always was gibberish, but lots of that stuff was. But people are always going, "Hey, did you hear what he said, man? Wow, that's really significant stuff. Hey, can I analyze what he's in the dumps? He's really down in the dumps. He had pumps. Well, he's masturbating into his hat. I mean, man, that's just that's just so cool. It's good. It's got it. It really means something. It's real good. Yeah. So, but yes, once again, JP. You see, the trouble is, we're such fickle bastards, aren't we? Because they played a bit better. Do you really feel about that now? Do you feel the same now? Since they played a bit better, since they drew with City, do we really feel that way now? By the way, 1894, they had two umpires, and the referee was on the side. And if the two umpires couldn't agree, because they'd be standing on the pitch both sides, they'd speak to the referee who would make a decision, and they have a little conference. So
conflab.
Yeah, but they didn't have linesmen, so perhaps they were replaced by that. But it's interesting to see how and in 1971 they attempted to have two referees for a game and it didn't work. So there we have it. This is from Joseph Wicking. Hi, Chidge, JK, and guests. There are no guests. Why you put guests, Joseph? There are no guests. It's Chidge and me. Long-time listener, first-time emailer. Well, it better be a good one. I'm currently listening to Emma Hayes' audiobook, Kill the Unicorn, which is a part autobiography, part her outlining her leadership / management philosophy. I highly recommend it to any Chelsea fan. Thanks, Joseph. Is it an advert for that? Oh, no, there's more. Anyway, with all the talk of Poch getting the sack after 2 horrible defeats, it's got me thinking if the club missed an opportunity in not seriously considering her for the men's team head coach role. Yeah. On top of being a hugely successful manager, the other thing she is going for is she understands the club's winning culture better than any other potential candidate out there. I know people will point out that she's no experience in the men's game. It's not hard to think a successful, experienced manager, she's been coaching since 2002, will be able to adapt. It's a bit of a moot point now that she's off to coach the USWNT, but as has been pointed out on this show many times, none of the other potential candidates out there look like they're going to be any better than Potter or Poch. Be any better, Potter or Poch. Be any better. I can't understand that. Any better, Potter or Poch. I would appreciate it would be a risk. Realistically, we're a mid-table club these days with occasional bouts of near relegation form. I'd agree with that. How much of a risk could it really be? At least with her, we would have someone that gets the club rather than someone who still talks about his time managing Spurs as we. But you're right, mate. He is right.
Harsh, but
he's
fair.
Right, though. He does. He does do that.
Yeah.
Keep the blue flag flying high. Keep up the excellent work, Joe. The trouble is that we're still not living in a world in football of equal opportunities, and I don't think some of the players would take us seriously. I'm afraid.
Well, I mean, they don't take half the managers we do hire seriously.
So yeah, why would they take her seriously? That's interesting. And I think the more I think about it, I think Poch has had difficulty with some of the players in that I think the culture was created at Chelsea that people just realized they were being paid enormous amount of money and didn't actually make any effort. And I think he's been having to drive that out of them. And I actually think we're now getting to a stage where there is slightly more of a team ethic. And I think he's been attempting to get that in place. Not that says that Emma should be, wouldn't be any better. But yeah, she's top person. I just don't think it's the era. We're not quite there yet with it. I think give us another 30 years, and I think it might be the case if you get people who are given opportunities to do so and do well. But it'll just, it change is so difficult like that. They're so conservative in football. Small C. Yeah.
I couldn't add anything to that, JK. I think you're spot on, mate. Now, this is an email that kind of goes into the category of Chidge is a complete dick. Okay.
No, Chidge.
Yeah, no. This is. I deserve. I deserve everything that's about to come up. I think it's a little bit of trouble with my microphone for some reason. Anyway, whatever. Stop fiddling about. Right. This is from Joe Sinclair. I don't even know if he wants me to read this out, actually. So I'm kind of, I'm a bit perplexed.
Oh, Chidge.
But we'll see. Anyway, Joe, if I wasn't meant to read this out, I'm really sorry. You've just put yourself on. Oh, he's blowing his nose. He's found the mute button. I didn't even know we had a mute button.
Oh, yes. Always look for the mute button.
Yeah, there we go. Joe Sinclair. Hi.
Button. Sorry, I just did it again as a joke. Yeah,
hi, Chidge. Yeah. Hi, Chidge. Hi, Chidge. Just a quick note to say thanks for all you do and all the wonderful troubadour gigs. We turned up early to one not too long ago. Me and my dad sat for some pre-podcast food and drinks. Dad's lived an adventurous life and lived in South America for a long spell, but has always yearned for a deeper connection with the Chels. Suddenly, Paul Cannavale turns up ready for the show, and we were the only ones there. He sat down and had a pint with us. It was a surreal and exhilarating experience. My abiding feeling was how proud I was that he had not only found his place within the Chelsea community, but he was also now fraternizing with people such as yourself, JK, and ex-players, apparently. Anyway, that's not what I'm writing about. I'm here to correct a minor misunderstanding. Dad's name is Rob, as in Robert, not Robin. He hadn't heard you properly all of this time and hadn't realized you were saying the wrong name. I thought I'd better let you know. Love you guys, and thanks for making my dad happy, Joe Sinclair. I read that and I was absolutely mortified. I have an unerring, terrible habit of calling people the wrong name, don't I, Bill?
Jim, you call me, surely.
That's right. No, I do. I'm terrible. And I feel awful. And I love Rob. I absolutely love. I mean, you talk about Rob being very happy he's got to meet us. I can't tell you how happy I was to make the connection with Rob. And I think it was mainly through the Troubadour gigs. And then he's turned up, as you know, Joe, because I met you and your dad in the Cock not long ago. Had a quick chat and a pint. And he's often got his boat moored in Southampton, and he very kindly offered. I mean, we just didn't, the timing just didn't work out, but I was planning to go down and spend a day with him on his boat down there and have a few drinkies. And of course, Rob, he pitched up to my place. Now, people who were on the last sleep out I shouldn't really say this on air, but it's kind of too late now. Okay. Should I say this? I don't know. Okay. No. I just have to be kind of diplomatic about how I put it. The last sleep out, Rob gave us an entire tray of oranges, proper oranges. They may or may not have been doctored with vodka. That's all I'm saying. But it was a wonderful thought, and he was lovely. So I'm very, very fond of your dad. And Rob, if you're listening, and Joe, if you're listening, I'm really sorry if I offended you by getting your name wrong. And I mean now, thanks to Joe. I'm very I feel terrible, JK. I really do. JK's shaking his head at me. You're making it worse, mate.
Chidge, this is just desperate.
I know, mate. Chidge. I know. I do honestly. I mean, I'm not putting this on. I feel terrible for doing that. I really do.
Chidge.
He's a lovely guy, Rob.
Robert. Just testing.
Okay. No, I've once corrected, never forgotten, mate. I tell you. So there we go. I will do better, Joe. But hopefully I'll see you and your dad in the Cock for a game sometime soon, actually, and at the Troubadour when we do the next one. It's always lovely to see you both. Anyway, I think we should move on, JK, before I decide to leave.
Okay, mate. Oh, dear.
Sorry, I've brought it all down, haven't I?
Yep, absolutely.
I know. It's a great email, the next one, though. You'll like this.
Get a cup of tea, actually.
No, you can't get a cup of tea. You got an email to read out.
Okay, yeah. This is from Michael Gibbon. Good old Michael. Dear Chidge and JK, happiness, good. I'm writing to you on Wednesday before the Villa match. I'm in good spirits, although I may see something tonight that upsets me. You didn't, mate. You did not. For those worried about Arsenal bragging they've actually finished well, it's Arsenal looking good until April and then falling apart is what they do. For those concerned that Poch is not a winner, I agree that he isn't, but that's also not what we need. We need a builder, a Ranieri. Ranieri! I'm sorry? Forgive me. I watched Ranieri be a dick. Anyway, I'll ignore that and keep on reading. We need a builder. And building anything of worth takes time. There may be a cup here and there. Well, we'll probably be mid-table for a while, but that's okay. Like with Ranieri. Sterling can bugger off, though, whatever happens. I detest that fraud. Sterling can bugger off, though, whatever happens. I detest that fraud. Rightly, well, I agree, because there is an element of the fraud about him. But then he scored a very good goal against City, despite being missing an earlier one that he should have taken. Anyway, keep the blue flag flying high. Kind regards, Michael Gibbon. Yes. A builder, I agree. We need a builder, but definitely not
Bob the Builder.
The clown. We definitely don't need the clown, Ranieri.
Can you build it?
Yes, we can.
We need Bob the Builder.
Thank you, Michael. I agree with everything other than Ranieri.
you got him going. I'll move on very quickly because now it's come for that moment in Off the Post that you've all been waiting for. It is the George Spencer email. It's almost like the Spencer Davies band, the George Spencer email, isn't it? Anyway, it's been, George says, Dear Chidgey and JK.
Keep on running, Chidge. Keep on running.
Oh, very good. Very good. It's been a rather mixed bag since the last email. First, there was the demolition of Middlesbrough, which unfortunately I wasn't able to watch. More on that later, because, of course, Liverpool get the Wednesday fixture for both legs. Then, mind you, had we got the Wednesday fixture, George, I wouldn't have been able to go. So I was quite pleased it was a Tuesday. Then there was the draw against Villa, which sounded rather insipid. And then there was the first league game of Klopp's 4-month North Korean funeral. So, of course, the referee gave them everything. We were rubbish. But had we been given that penalty in the first half, things could have been very different. And then there was the abject capitulation to Wolves, where we huffed and puffed and they blew our defence in. Put all that together, and the portents didn't look too good for the Villa game. However, we hadn't read the script. Excuse me, I had. And goals from Madueke and Gallagher put us firmly in control before a sumptuous free kick from Enzo put the cherry on top, even if we did let our guard down at the end. Bring on dirty Leeds.
Dirty Leeds, bastards.
Bastards.
Bastards, Sid.
Bastards.
Bastards. Bastards. Everybody out there watching, they're bastards.
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 Bastards. That. Meanwhile, actually, that just reminds me of not JK, you're JK. Cheltel, back in the old days. You remember the what's his name? Colin Blake. Is it Colin Blakely? The script writer for Chariots of Fire, who won that Oscar and said,
Colin Welland.
Colin Welland. The British are coming. But he was from North. But Tell used to do this impersonation of him. Where he would basically say, Northerners are real people with real emotions. Bah! it was always the bah that used to get me at the end of it. Every time I think of Yorkshire and bastards, I just want to go, bah! Anyway, where were we? Who am I? Where are we? Right, meanwhile, things have been just as mixed down the M3. Winchester's 3-1 defeat at Walton and Ersham was marred by the manager being attacked after the match. Bloody hell, mate. And then subject to targeted harassment on Twitter? This is not the Winchester way, George. What's going on? Things didn't improve the following Tuesday as they lost 2-1 at home to Didcot, of all teams. Thankfully, I had no idea this was all going down at the Citizens. Thankfully, things improved quickly with a 2-0 win at Basingstoke, followed by a come-from-behind win at home to Tiverton. Unfortunately, our next game was at home to league leaders Chesham, who dispatched us 3-0 before it looked like history would repeat as we were 2-0 down at home to Swindon Supermarine. I always want to call them Swindon Submarine for some reason. On Tuesday night, with 10 minutes left, but then Stuart Mott and IK Hill brought us level and we came within inches of winning in the dying seconds. Until the next time, up the Chelsea, George Spencer. Thanks, George. I have to have a look to see what the Citizens have been up to, actually. I didn't realise a lot of malarkey had been going on. JK.
Chidge, give me some loving.
Always, JK, you know that.
That was the other Spencer Davis hit.
Give me some loving.
Give me some loving.
Give me some loving.
Give me some loving.
There we go.
Every day, boom, boom, boom.
All right. Next email.
Yeah, Calvin Price. Dear Chidge and Duke of Kid, Duke of Kid. I just want to start thanking you two, thank you, and the whole Chelsea Fancast family. They're all great for all your hard work, entertaining myself, many others every week. Spend lots of time driving around the country for work, and I've got a 2-hour drive on Tuesday morning. I'm in safe hands. Thank you, mate. I'm writing this morning after watching Chelsea travel to Selhurst Park. I generally believe the only reason we won that match was due to Chidge's attendance. You do have the effect of being a lucky talisman for them, don't you, Chidge? It's good.
Well, apart from West Ham, first away of the season I did, and we lost 2-1.
That's true. Well, we won't think about that.
I've been I'm 5-1, I think now, aren't I? What have I seen? Burnley.
One there.
Fulham.
Yeah.
Spurs.
Yeah.
Palace. Don't think I've done any other way. So I'm 4-1.
4-1. It's good. So it can't be the only reason we won that match, but perhaps it's because I was there as well. Perhaps there was a double kind of whammy. Maybe. Anyway, the scoreline is truly a truly false reflection of how the team played. With that said, what I will say is that a result like that reminds me of how Man United have been playing up until recently. Important part of a good team is winning even when you're shit, as the progress is still so slow and the boys are clearly miles off working as a cohesive unit. They're shit, aren't they? Yeah, we still need to put results in until the end of the season. Hope we're building momentum to carry into the next. I've been lucky enough to be in attendance for 5 games this season at the Bridge, watching 3 wins, a draw and a loss. Brentford game, fucking shit show. It wasn't it? Terrible. I can honestly say not a lot makes me more happy than a match day with my mates. Yeah, that's great fun. Even when we're playing shit, I agree. Not a lot better than a few beers before the game with the excitement of potential win in the back of your mind. I'm hoping to be going to the Tottenham home game whenever it's played, as there's not a lot I hate more than Spuds. To convince you this team could be a good Chelsea side in a few years, we need to hump the Spuds at the Bridge. Of course, agreed completely. Before the Villa match, so much speculation around the coach and the performances. Again, last night, I have to say, Moises was absolutely dreadful. And Enzo spent the first half of the game giving the ball away. No players on the pitch in that first half covered themselves in glory, to be honest. It's only due to the manager giving them the hairdryer at halftime they managed to pick up the points. I have to say, in spite of the results this season and all the noise, there's nothing worse that could happen. Was that the Villa game he was talking about? Because I thought we played well in the first half against Villa, didn't we? In the 1-1. Is he talking about?
No. He says before the Villa match, so much speculation around the coach and the performances. Again, last night, I have to say, Caicedo was absolutely dreadful, and Enzo spent the first half of the game giving the ball away. So whatever the match before Villa was.
Oh, I see. Fulham. Yeah, absolutely.
Wolves.
Yeah, Wolves. Wolves were appalling. I have to say, in spite of the results this season, all the noise, there's nothing worse could happen to this club than sacking another coach. Team needs nurturing, needs time. Poch is the man who can get things settled, in my view. Hope he's given the rest of the season and next season to do that. Well, it'll just be his contract, won't it? So that would make sense. But let's see. If he's not pushing into top 6 next year's contract should not be renewed in 2025. That's a decision for then. What needs to happen is Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart need to be tied to a post outside Stamford Bridge and be publicly shamed for this disgraceful business they've done.
Yeah.
Covered in shit. Out of all the signings, £1 billion. They have only
£1 billion.
£1 billion. £1 billion. £1 billion. Made 3 solid signings. Should be part of this team for as long as possible. Gusto, Palmer, and Petrovic. Yes, Palmer, of course, fantastic, and Petrovic, yeah. Beyond that, none of these lads are good enough for Premier League standards at the moment. That may change, makes us as match-going fans suffer. That's not good enough. And then bizarrely, it's finally, fuck Arsenal. Yeah. Why not? Just add that as well, Calvin. I love it. Yeah. But weirdly enough, of course, the Enzo and Moises have played really well the last few matches. Intriguing.
Yeah, I know. This is where we are.
It's working. It's where we are. It's where it's working.
A roller coaster of a season.
As has Chile down the wing, down the. I keep saying the wing, down the right hand side, left hand side, playing fullback. So yes. Anyway, Leon Duke. That's yours,
Duke of Leon, Duke of Leon. Yeah, Leon Duke. Great name, Leon. Like it. Good afternoon, Chidge, Guy, in this case. Love the show. Listen every week and have done for years. I love this stuff. These people coming out the woodwork who've been with us for years, man. We have been going for 15 years. So, if you've been with us, we had somebody earlier on who's been listening to 2011, which is that's remarkable. I love this fact. Warms the cockles of an old man's heart. Right. Would it be possible to get maybe a coach on sometimes to explain? Oh, yes, I remember this. I like this email. I remember this. Would it be possible to get maybe a coach on sometimes to explain why some things that happen could be explained tactically rather than a rant?
I think it's a bit rude, that, isn't it? Rude.
No. I when I read it first, I thought, how dare you say that, you piece of shit. But then I read it again and I thought, oh, no. Actually, actually, he makes an excellent point. Let me read it again. Would it be possible to get maybe a coach on sometimes to explain why some things that happen could be explained tactically rather than a rant?
But we do explain things tactically.
Yeah, but we're not coaches. We don't have coaching badges.
No, I know, but then a coach would frequently make an excuse for something that we just see.
Oh happening. No, okay. Let me address this first.
Yeah, okay, and then we'll talk about it and row.
Let me do the email first. Yeah, okay, whilst we're poor and a lot of the tactical decisions made are a mystery at times, and obviously I understand the audience and the purpose of the show. Some things have me shouting at the radio at times. I love the show and would never want it to change, but so much could be offered to the audience with some current and up-to-date knowledge of why things happen tactically within these games. I'm sure there's experienced football people or ex-players who would jump at the chance to be involved with the show from time to time. Just a thought that could involve and educate the audience more on where things happen and why. Thanks for taking the time to read my email. Look forward to all your future podcasts. Kind regards, Leon Duke. Now, yeah, I hear what you say. If you were a bit sensitive to criticism, I'm mentioning no names, JK, that one could take that the wrong way.
No, I'm not sensitive to criticism.
No, not in the least, JK.
No,
not
ever.
Never take anything personally.
No, I haven't taken it personally. I just think that we come up with tactical decisions for things.
Yeah. But I as I said, I read that and I thought, actually, do you know what? Leon makes an excellent point because I freely admit that I come from a very different, an older generation of supporters, as does JK. So you know, I'm not necessarily up to the newfangled tactics that are going on. And anyway, you know, and I've never made any pretense otherwise. I'm not a coach. I've not got any football coaching badges. So, you know, my knowledge ostensibly comes from watching football for over 45 years, you know, but that's not necessarily a qualification to talk tactically. Now, in my defense, Leon, I would say that I do know a lot of ex-footballers and I've spent a lot of time watching football with them. And I mean, one of my finest moments when I die, this will flash before my little eyes before I shuffle off this planet. But I watched Brian Justman's just put down in the chat, JK, you don't need no stinking badges.
I agree with him. Good old Brian. Absolutely agree.
That's just brilliant. Anyway, one of my finest memories will be I watched the many matches in the 2006 World Cup with none other than Ray Wilkins. Me, Ray, a big fuck off TV, a bottle of Montepulciano, and a nice Italian pasta-based meal. And because you know me, I don't care who I'm with. I'm just going to talk bollocks, whoever it is, as I thought. And actually, Ray said to me many a time, he said, well, David, young man, you really do know your football. So, you know, if Ray Wilkins thinks I know what I'm talking about, that's good enough for me. But I do accept Leon's point. And actually, the salient point in all of this is it had me thinking. For example, at our last Troubadour gig, right, Kenny Swain, who has coached a lot of the young players who are now playing for the full England side, he was coaching them when they were youth players for England. He's got all of his badges, clearly, because he'd never be coaching at that level if he hadn't. And if you remember how we talked to him about what was going on tactically, and of course, because Kenny's lovely, he wasn't ramming it down our face like, well, you don't know what you're talking about, and this is how it is. But he explained things in a really good way, and he added something to it. It added to our understanding, and I really enjoyed that. I didn't feel in the least bit patronized or like I was an idiot, because we are capable, because we know enough to ask the right questions. That's the point. But if you've got somebody on the show who's got their coaching badges, has coached recently, then actually it would be, I think it would really add something to the show. So what I'm going to do, Leon, is that I'm going to have a think about who we might have on. I mean, I'd love to say Kerry, but Kerry's even more Luddite than we are. If you talk to Kerry about coaching, he says, systems are loads of bollocks, mate. It's about the players, And if it's talking about good strikers, just hit the fucking ball, mate, in the net, I mean, Kerry is not very tactically minded, but more passionate and a bit more of a lunatic than we are, if the truth is to be told. But if we could get somebody, I'm not saying Kenny, but somebody like Kenny who's got their badges, knows their onions tactically, maybe what we do, JK, is we invite them on to a show once a month, and we pick up some tactical points with them.
And then after we've used them, we don't need to have them on anymore because we know enough.
Well, don't be so precious. I think it would enrich us. It would enlighten us. It would enlighten us. It would enlighten our audience. I think Leon is. I didn't take what Leon said as a criticism in any way, shape, or form.
I have.
I know you have. That's because you're way more thin-skinned and sensitive than me. But then I've had years of therapy, so it does help. But I think it's a really good suggestion, and I'm going to have a think about who we might, of all the ex-players that we know, preferably choose one that's not as ranty and foul-mouthed as us. One who, I mean, as I said, Kenny came to mind because of what he said at the Troubadour gig, which I thought was fascinating. So I will have a think about it, and I will talk to our player's agent, also known as Mark Meehan, and see what he thinks. I think it's a really good idea, and I'm going to think about getting them on. So there you go. Maybe even just they can come and join the normal Monday show once a month or something. We could do this. What do you reckon?
We'll probably have to pay them.
Well, I don't mind doing that.
Okay, we could ask for a whip round from Mixler.
We'll have a GoFundMe for once a month.
Yeah, I think we should. Leon
can pay them.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, love it. No, Leon, I honestly, hand on heart, I thought that was an excellent suggestion. I really am. I'm going to think about it. I tell you what, somebody suggested what we should do is get Claudio Ranieri on.
Go down well with me, Chidge.
I want you to go out there and be like lions. You would need to be my lions with a knife in your teeth.
That is my favorite player of all time.
That is a direct quote.
Yeah,
Graham Lasso told me that because I worked with Graham at the same time I worked with Ray Wilkins, and he hated Ranieri, and he said
he hated him. Yeah. They could never understand his selection.
No,
he hated it.
That's right. He said to me, he always used to say, "Go out there and fight like lions, and go like with a knife in your teeth." He couldn't say knife. Go out with a knife in your teeth.
I like that, knife in your teeth. That's good because of course even Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank's book just is how can I put it? He's not pleasant about being managed by Ranieri, particularly when he scored a hat trick one week and he decides to rest him the following week just to put new energy in the team. You think, yeah, mate, you're away with the fairies. But never mind. Anyway, thanks, Leon, very much.
Dilly long.
Thank you, Leon. Thanks for that, mate. Thank you. Good. All right. Yeah. No rants then. Good. Let's ask the player we get in about referees. See how tactful they are. Good. Anyway, number 9. No, Marco.
Sourpuss, JK.
What? Sourpuss? And Leon Duke. Leon.
And he's nicked your name.
He has, and he listens every week. Yeah. You're getting a mention every week, Leon.
Hell hath no fury like a JK scorned.
JK scorned. Marco Delavelle. Good old Marco. Good evening, Chidge. Jonathan. Do you want to bring somebody on, Marco? Do you want bring somebody on better than us? Good, Marco. Good evening, Chidge, Jonathan, the members of the Fancast family that are on the show tonight. There are none, Marco. It's just me and Chidge. What's the matter with you? Well, I'm now taking my anger out on you, Marco. I apologize. Well, what a week it's been. 2 performances.
Dilly ding, dilly dong.
Dilly ding, dilly dong, dilly ding, dilly dong. What a week it's been. Boom, bang, a bang, boom, bang, a bang, when you are mine. What a week it's been. 2 performances of such contrast away at Villa and Palace. Ultimately, the correct result in both matches. Thought the game against Villa was almost perfect. We all did. I'm so sorry. Afterwards, my feeling, for those watching in stereo, that was, what did I have to eat? I can't remember. It was
so long ago, mate.
It was a long time ago, actually. Yeah, earlier on this evening with my lovely daughter. Made it for my daughter. Chicken and salad. Yeah, and they had wraps. I didn't have the wrap. Good. Anyway, I thought the game against Villa was almost perfect, and afterwards my feeling was, well, if we do the same on Monday, then we should take the points. Then Monday night comes around and we chum out an absolutely terrible performance in the first 45. I'm sitting at home wondering what the hell is going on. Well, we were there. We were thinking the same bloody thing, mate. Every single.
Then we sang "Every Little Thing Is Gonna Be All Right."
Be all right. 3 little birds, mate. 3 little birds. Chelsea. The bloke behind me sang all the way through it. In the holes. What? So it goes, don't you worry about the thing. Every little thing. Gonna be all right.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously. What the fuck was that? What was he doing?
Dear.
I've even recorded it. I recorded that bit. Recorded it. And there he is. What? Anyway, he obviously thought he was doing well. Anyway,
Chelsea.
Exactly what happened. Yeah, then Chelsea.
I like the addition of the Chelsea, though. I thought that makes it ours. I like
that. Yeah. It was such a strange thing, wasn't it? All of that. The bloke playing. What on earth was that bloke doing? Playing that. I suppose he thought, oh, this is a good positive song to play. Yeah. Realizing that according to Pochettino in the press conference, the players were uplifted by it.
I told you that.
You said, Chidge. You said.
I did.
You said, which he slipped in at the very end of the press conference after it had been rather a dull press conference with people people asking the same question about Palmer playing at City. God save us, some of those journalists. Anyway, still on at the Palace game, first half. Every single player looked like strangers if they'd never played together before. In Dweke's case, he played like he'd never seen a ball before. He did. He was absolutely appalling. What on earth happens? He plays excellently against Villa, and then he plays absolutely dreadfully. What is going on in the poor boy's head? Anyway, then in the second half, almost the exact opposite. We ran out deserved winners. Why can't we start like this? It's so frustrating because we're better than 10th, but so inconsistent. As a fan, you never know what Chelsea are going to turn up. If we play aggressively against City, we get something from the game. We did, and we did. If we don't start aggressively, it could be a long night. Absolutely right. Everybody kept moaning on Monday about the fact we had no shots on target in the first half against Palace. Well, we had one scuffed, in fact. But no one complained when City played Everton, didn't have a shot on target until the 71st minute. That's true. Because it's City, the pundits just brushed the performance under the carpet, praise them for being clinical. That's really frustrating as well. Hopefully we can get a result against them on Saturday. Keep the blue flag flying high, Marco Della Val. Yep, we did, in fact. Well done.
Spot on.
Nice mail, Marco. Well done, mate.
Spot on. Absolutely right. Last but no means least, is it a long one? No, it's not too bad.
It's Mason from Wales. Good old Mason.
Mason Owen. Hi, lads. Hope you're all well. Just wanted to talk a bit about the constant changing narrative of Chelsea. I understand we're 10th with lots of comparisons to last season. I don't think that's fair at all. By no means am I defending the position we're in, as Chelsea should never settle for mediocrity. But surely people shut up. But surely people can see that
there's I can pull myself out of the frame, can't I?
You've not been in the frame all flaming night, mate. You should be more central. If I'm directing you, which I should be,
you should be. I should be there.
Right.
Yeah, should be there, shouldn't I? Yeah.
Yeah, that's more like it's better late than never, mate.
Yeah, at least I've done it now. You can see my mic. You can see my pop shield.
Yeah, your Poch shield.
My Poch shield. Yeah. Sorry about that. Sorry, Mason, to interrupt. Sorry, but yeah, this is new. We're doing this for the first time. It's all a bit novel.
You would have thought that we've never.
It's attacking me. Help! Sorry, yeah.
You never thought we'd have done this before, would you? Okay, I can't even remember where I am, for fuck's sake. Right, I understand we're 10th with lots of comparisons to last season. I don't think that's fair at all. I could mute you on Zoom. I can make your screen go away if I want.
Can you?
Yes.
Blimey, I'll know when I've been bad.
You will. Now, right, by no means am I defending the position we're in, as Chelsea should never settle for mediocrity, but surely people can see that there's hope, a light at the end of the tunnel. You're right, Mason. Even JK said it earlier on. No matter how dark things get this season, we are competing. And if we ignore the league, we're competing in cup competitions like the good old Chelsea were. I understand the league position is important, and lots of people don't see Poch's vision, the team he puts out, or the positions and the tactics. I can't, like I do half the time. Well, what you need, Mason, is you need for us to have an ex-player who's had got all of his coaching badges on to explain it for you.
That'd be perfect. Leon's the man, isn't he?
No, Leon's the guy who's come up with the idea.
Oh, yes, of course.
And he's going to pay for it. He's going to pay for it.
Yeah,
But recently, Poch has been either getting it right, shush, he's either been getting it right to take the Aston Villa game or making a tweak to improve our performances in games like half-time at Palace. Very true. The fact that people question his ability as a manager is baffling. He shouldn't be immune to criticism, and he by no means isn't. Maybe he even gets more heat than he deserves, as every time he loses, everyone wants him out. I agree. The old sack the manager trope clearly doesn't work anymore. Personally, I believe in Poch, and there are games where we've gone toe-to-toe with the top four in the league, Liverpool, City, Arsenal and Spurs, and City, and either looked their equal or conquered them, other than the one Liverpool game where we did get hammered, of course, which, along with our cup presence, is the great difference compared to last season, although we drew City like 100 times last season. I'm also writing this before the City game and don't expect anything short of a result. However, I have great hope for our final, and with their 2 first-team injuries, the fact that Wembley is only down the road from us compared to Liverpool, and our 8 days rest until the final compared to Liverpool's 4 days rest and preparation, I like those odds better than they were. So much so, I've spent a fair deal of money to get me and the missus tickets to go.
Yes!
I told her I'd pay for it all and lied about how much it was. Otherwise, she'd never agreed to come. They were only a tenner each, Mason. Tell her that from us. But I may need her for the moral support just in case. Ha ha.
A tenner. Also, I paid a £5 for mine.
Yeah, but shush. Although I thought I'd put my money where my mouth is, especially since I went to the previous 3 Carabao Cup matches. You did indeed. And you are the lucky omen, Mason. So I'm very glad you're going. One thing I was wondering was if Chelsea had any form of ticket ballot system. I know trying to get seats is a lottery in itself, but I hear about it for other clubs, and I'm unsure if we have anything of the sort to give our fans a chance. I understand fans hate tourists, but we're a club not just for London, but for people around the world, as you can clearly see from the many emails you get. I feel lucky that I'm in a position where I can make a straight train trip to see the game, but feel bad for the fans that have to travel from afar, possibly spending £1,000 plus to see something like Chelsea v Wolves. If you ask me, those tourists who do stuff that are true fans in my book and deserve a chance at a truly big game of the season anyway. It's a really tricky one. Look, what I would say, Mason, is that, I mean, look, whether you like it, I'm funny enough, this is tapping into the article I'm writing for CFC UK, which I've got to do by Friday. But I think that whatever way you look at it, there is a hierarchy of fans. And I'm very happy to accept that. So, for example, I view JK as a much better Chelsea supporter than me. He's been going for many, many years longer. He goes home and away. He also has very expensive tickets. He's prepared to invest in it to that extent. But he's a much better supporter than me. There are many people that I know like JK. You know, anybody who has an away season ticket. I mean, these are the top of the tree of the Chelsea fans, and I have no problem saying that they are better than me. So I think that in reality, you have to accept that there is going to be a hierarchy. What that doesn't mean, of course, is that those that are like JK and Kath would be another example, many others, home and away season ticket holders, shouldn't ever ram it down people's throats, and big themselves up for it. But I think there is a hierarchy. However, with the Carabao Cup final, if you have a season ticket, you are going to get a cup final ticket, because I think the allocation is about 33,000. We only have about 25,000 season ticket holders, so you're going to get one. Okay, you have to lump the corporates in, which makes it about 28, I think. But nevertheless, that means that there are 4,000 or 5,000 tickets available for everybody else. Now, yes, I know that there are about 90,000 members, so you've got, what is it? Pretty much a 1 in 20 chance of getting a ticket. And then what they do is they do it on loyalty points. Now, this is the trouble. I mean, this is where it all falls down, because you can only get loyalty points by getting tickets to a game, and it is a closed shop if you're a member. And that's where I think it gets really complicated, which is, I think, what Mason's saying with his ballot idea. There's no easy answer to this, Mason. I've been on the trust since it started. We've yet to come up with a situation that will keep everybody happy. I hear what you're saying. In many respects, somebody who spends $1,000 to come over from the States or Australia or whatever is making that's more than I spend on my season ticket. So, they're making a supreme effort to come. I have no answer for it. I just feel your pain if you can't get a ticket. And I hope you did get a ticket, Mason, because I was under the impression that you did reading the email earlier on, but there we go. I think you are, by the looks of it. Anyway, hope you lads are as excited for Wembley as I am, and hope you're having a good one. We are indeed. Mason, Wales's finest. What do you think, JK?
Great mail. Yes, he has got a ticket, hasn't he? He's definitely because he's going to be at Wembley. Yeah, but I think he was just asking for generally about people how they were fortunate enough to get a ticket. Was there a ballot? Interesting, Chich. How do they work out who gets the rest of the tickets? Is it because lots of people must have the same number of points? Surely, does it then become just who they choose?
Then it's first come, first serve. Say that
first come, first served.
What I do know is it went down to a very low number of loyalty points. So let's say you and I had 10 loyalty points. Yeah. Then at some stage they will release tickets for people who have 10 loyalty points, and then you and I just have to get into the VWR and
yes, it's getting in there, isn't it? Sitting in there for some time. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
So there you go. Well, there we go. What a lovely. It's been a long show, but fun. It's been great fun doing it on YouTube, but I'm afraid that is all we've got time for tonight. Now, JK and I will be back on Friday with either my mystery special guest that I plugged on Monday yesterday,
you teased,
or not. Yeah. Yes, well, they've come back to me saying they might not be available. They're now trying to rearrange their life to make sure they can attend.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
So we'll see.
Are they somebody who could give us tactical advice?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not as far as I know. I don't know if they have their badges. But anyway, as Brian said, we don't need no stinking badges. But I don't know. If it's not them, then it'll either be one of the other reprobates. And if it's not one of them, it'll just be me and JK on Friday. But either way, we'll be here on Friday to preview the Caribou Cup final against Liverpool.
Exciting.
I am very excited. I've got my nephew a ticket.
You got one? Oh, good for you. Well done.
Yeah. So I haven't told him yet, but his mum says it's okay for him to go. So he's got the royal seal of approval. So I just got to tell him now. Anyway, if you want your email, it's been an email show tonight, in off the post. If you want your emails read out on the show, very simple. Email us, chelseafancast@gmail.com. That's simple. chelseafancast@gmail.com. So there you go. Now, you can follow the show. Of course, you can follow the show. Everybody knows you can follow the show at Chelsea Fancast. I'm at Stamford Chidge. Jonathan is at Jonathan Kidd. Jonathan, it's been an absolute delight.
I'm sorry I got so bogged down in the refereeing one, but I suddenly found myself thinking about what two refs would be like. I do apologise, but that's just the way it was. Refs and me don't sit well.
So. Refs and insults.
Yeah.
Or perceived insults in this case.
Yeah. Oh, we've got another thing came up previewing the Carabao Cup final. Did you set that up? Did you do that?
I did that while we were talking on the show. I'm that clever. God. But there you go. JK, it's been brilliant to see you. I've really enjoyed doing this. This is the future of the Chelsea Fancast, I feel. We've had what I haven't told you, and I haven't had time to read many of them out, apart from Brian and his stinking badges one. But we've had a lot of love on the YouTube comments and also Mixler. Saying how much they've enjoyed watching our ugly mugs on the Fancast, which I find I'm astonished by the fact they like that. But anyway, apparently they've really enjoyed this. So we'll be doing this again, and it'll get better as we get more used to it, I'm sure. Yes, JK's he's so excited. He's been cocking around like a complete buffoon all night. No change there then. Right, we got to go. We'll see you on Friday. Looking forward to that. Thank you all for watching and listening. See you soon. Until then, keep it blue, keep it carefree, and keep it Chelsea.
Hey, Chelsea! Hey, you boy! Hey, Chelsea! I love you. You're in my blood, mate. You're in my heart.